delighted to be joined once again by Women Grandmaster Laura Unok. Laura, how are you doing today?
I am awesome, Felix. Thank you so much for this nice introduction. I am so excited for today's match, for the finish of the match. What are your predictions?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so hard to predict any of those two players, as we saw in their games yesterday. They are battling it out. The current score is 5-4 to Daniil Dubov's favor. But last time we saw a huge comeback from Daniil Dubov, so we might see sort of a similar thing now. Daniil Dubov, I think, won his last 3 games yesterday, so he was in sort of had a great run. I'm really curious what we're gonna see today. Do you have any predictions?
Oh, I just know it's going to be very exciting. I'm mostly excited to see the openings again, and if both players will decide to play something else, like Dubo loves his Catalan, maybe Hans now check the slaw defense that he also played yesterday. So mostly I'm excited to see what surprises we will see there. But Felix, overall, it's a blitz game.
Yeah.
And in this blitz game, the games will mostly be decided in an end game. That's what we saw yesterday. In the last 9 games, I think 8 or 7 were decided in an end game, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in an endgame. Great that you mentioned that. We're streaming on ENDGAME.AI/watch, and yeah, so many
Exactly.
so many endgames
Yeah,
everywhere.
so
Yeah.
many endgames, very excited endgames, some queen versus two rooks ones. And guys, I would just like to say thank you everybody for watching and joining this amazing chess revolution happening on endgame.ai. It's a platform with a waitlist. You guys, please join the waitlist where you can also chat, comment, and be interactive with the audience and also with us. So I welcome you all to check it out.
Yeah, cannot add anything to that. You summarized it great. And yeah, we can also, or you guys actually can watch the games on the website as well and analyze the games there. So there's a function to check the games with a live engine as well, which is a great addition towards that. And we see the players are getting ready. Hans Niemann has the white pieces. Once again, yesterday, just to remind the viewers, we saw the white side going very strong. The white color won almost all of their games.
Mhm.
And
It was insane score. Out of 9 games, only 1 win with black pieces and 8 wins with white pieces. That doesn't happen often, Felix. I would say that it's at least for me, it's a bit of a surprise.
yeah, especially in Blitz, like usually in Blitz, the color doesn't matter so much. In classical, white definitely has an advantage, but in Blitz, overall, anything can happen. And it was just crazy to see how many points they made with white. And players are again having a pretty good time, at least Daniil Dubov is smiling from ear to ear.
With black pieces, yeah, maybe waiting for a comeback with black pieces, ready, prepared to win this match. He won, of course. This is a rematch. Last time Hans lost. It was a very, very, very tough match. 9.5 against 8.5 in the end. So last game was the decider of who won the match, and it was Daniil Dubov. So.
Yeah.
Of course, he wants to win again. All chess players are very competitive, but I'm sure Hans playing extremely well yesterday, just then making some not weird opening choices, but some dubious opening moves. But maybe just because Dubo was very well prepared and put some tricks on the board already in first 10, 15 moves.
Absolutely. Dubov's Catalan is so tricky. Like he plays those lines, which practically speaking are so difficult to counter with, especially with limited amounts of time. And he has played those lines for many, many years with great results and knows really the ins and outs of the Catalan.
Oh yeah, very excited to see that. Do you think Hans will still go with his Italian today? He's white now, so we will probably see it soon.
Yeah, I would expect both players to stick to their white openings because as we saw, it went pretty well for them. So we do see e4 on the board, but Daniel goes for one knight
Oh.
c6.
Well. So not e5 anymore, as we saw in the previous games. Knight c6. How is this opening even called, Felix?
I have
Does
no
it have a
idea.
name? I actually don't know if it has a name. Knight f6 is, I think, Alekhine,
Yeah, but knight
but
c6,
knight
oof.
c6 is, oh wow. So this is like almost French, almost Caro-Kann, almost Jobava London with black pieces.
Yes, something in between. I actually played that line with black myself.
Oh.
I'm really excited to know, well, I would be excited to know what Dubov planned after e4, knight c6, knight f3. Would he have just gone to transpose with
E5.
e5?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Maybe we will see in the next games, but in this one, we currently have this close structure, which is very, very common for Caro-Kann slash French defense. I say Caro-Kann because bishop is now out on f5 and not on c8, like it would be in the French defense.
Yeah. And the computer usually favors white here because of the space advantage, gives some slight advantage, but black can be quite happy because he got his usually bad French bishop out on f5 and is ready to exchange it at any moment. And he does so.
Exactly, he does so. And I wonder if DANIIL wants to, with this queen d7 move, does he want to long castle maybe and put some pressure on white's king in the future?
I can definitely imagine that. I think long castle will be coming.
Yeah, well, this f6 move is very common, very typical for this position. So before, I think this is a good practical decision by Hans. Basically, if DANIIL goes for long castle, white is already ready for an attack on the queen side.
Absolutely. He's also indirectly fighting over the e5 square because whenever b5 comes, kicking out the knight from c6, he might have better control of the e5 square. So we see taking on e5, d takes e5, and a6 stopping b5 for the moment.
Wow, okay.
On the other hand, a6 does create a hook as well. So now castling queenside might be a bit more risky.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to do it. I think this is a move where he says, no, not for me. I think now bishop e7 and short castle might be in the game for DANIIL. And I also like that the f file is open. So yeah, bishop e7, just simple. I wonder how Hans will actually continue.
I like knight b3, opening up the bishop on c1.
But now, what now?
DANIIL's position looks quite easy to play. Maybe rook f5 could be played, pressuring the pawn on e5. And he goes for it, rook f5.
You guessed it. Very good move, yeah. Very practical, very, very logical. So I think Hans now will want to do something on the queen side. Or are we... Okay, also e5 pawn is hanging. We have to take care of it somehow.
Yeah, how do you even defend it?
I don't know if I want to defend it. Probably it's good that I would knight d4 comes to mind. I have to calculate, of course, how knight e5, if it works, if the knight is hanging in the end, for example, knight b d4, knight takes e5, knight takes e5.
He goes for it.
So we're gonna see something like this. I think we will see knight c takes e5, knight e5, rook e5. Would you say something like this? This is possible?
I think he's going for it, yeah. Knight c e5. And how does white find compensation for the pawn? Or is he gonna win it back?
I think somehow we will take on e5, play something like queen e2.
And then e6 might fall, yeah.
But honestly, bishop f6 is very annoying because then c3 is also going to fall at the end.
Yeah, you're right, bishop f6.
So I don't know if I like it. Oh,
queen h3. That's a creative way of pressuring the pawn on e6. Hans is quite low on time though, only 50 seconds.
Good to point that out. I didn't even see that. I'm so invested in this position. It transposes the pawn structure transposes so fast.
Yeah.
Are we still going for something like bishop f6 here, or do you want to be more creative here? I don't think we have a lot of choices, right?
Yeah, bishop f6 looks so logical, just putting the bishop on this diagonal. It's also thinking about rook e8 here, so that I have some discoveries later after you take on e6.
I was thinking the same, but I don't know if I have them actually. Like rook e8, queen e6, knight e6. Where are you going? Bishop b4?
I thought bishop b4, knight c7, and then bishop c3, and it all goes on there.
Oh, Okay, this is actually very dramatic because there's some checkmate ideas, but bishop f6 played. Simple.
Yeah, he goes
No
for bishop
complication.
f6.
Okay, I guess he's gonna take on e6 now. And again, like we're going into an endgame with different pawn structure. I think I would slightly prefer black just on the first glance because of the f6 bishop right now.
Yeah, also targeting the pawn on c3. In general, the black bishop seems much more active than the bishop on c1, just because white's pawns are on the same square as his bishop.
Exactly.
So queen e6. I guess Daniil is gonna capture, yeah, on the board.
And now rook c8 or c6,
knight
but
c4.
no, knight c4 immediately, just giving the c7 pawn. He doesn't care about it. Why doesn't he care about it, Felix?
I guess if knight c7, does he just want to take on c3?
I don't know, we're gonna see.
Rook d8. Maybe the knight can be in some trouble sometimes. But it's not getting trapped.
I don't think he's getting trapped, but I think Daniil is counting that he can take on c3 and play d4, and that this pawn can be strong.
And he's going for it.
Okay, we're gonna go, yeah.
Hans is under pressure.
Yeah. Oh, these endgames, these are always so tough to defend low on time. I mean, 20 seconds, I think I would lose this against any grandmaster I would play. Just because everybody is so experienced in these endgames, and I think Daniil is one of those people that... Okay, we'll see. Maybe also Hans is very...
5 seconds.
Yeah, we're gonna see now what's going to happen.
Knight c5.
It makes sense, stopping d3 from happening, but...
Oh, knight b2, now d3, d2. Still, rook c1 hanging on.
7 seconds.
Wow,
ooh,
g5.
Beautiful. Oh, but some
knight
tricks.
e4.
Knight f6. Knight f6 we want to play.
Yeah.
I think this is hanging on by a thread, but now we want to go bishop d2, so it's not so simple for black.
Yeah, knight e4 was a fantastic resource.
Wow. Yeah, this is okay.
King
Hans,
f7.
very tactical.
Just takes on g5.
Okay, I guess.
Knight takes a4. Now it's heating up.
Oh,
h4.
very nice move. Now we're threatening to play knight c3 at some point, exchange this knight for bishop.
Also, Daniil Dubov on 10 seconds. g4.
Oh, this is so exciting now.
f4. It's a complete race now. Still, it feels like black is a bit faster, but now anything can happen. The pawn on d4 is just so dangerous.
Can I go d3 now?
There's knight d6.
Oh, there was knight d6. Very nice.
King d3, knight f2.
Oh.
King runs to e2.
Okay.
Rook c2, king f3. Wow.
This is now a 2-result game. I have no clue what can happen.
Is the king safe on h2? It does look like it, but the pawn on f5 is running as well.
Okay, but now we go knight f2 and we go f6.
Wow.
Yeah. How is
b4.
black stopping the f-pawn?
He goes back with the bishop. Hans blitzing out all of his moves.
Oh my. Bishop f8. Oh, now Hans attacking.
Yeah, this is not going well for Daniil now. Daniil on 3 seconds.
Oh, 1 second.
1 second. Rook f1.
Oh, wow.
Knight c5.
What? Wait.
What an idea that was.
Wow. And now
knight
just the
c5,
queen up.
Disconnecting the bishop on a3 from the f8 square.
What a beautiful tactic by
now queen
Hans.
up for Hans. He should take that one home.
Okay, also 18 seconds, I think. We can be very positive that Hans can do this.
I think so too.
Oh, but still, okay, Daniil's trying with this deep pawn. Sometimes knights can be tricky, eh?
Surprisingly so, and Daniil is fighting this one out.
Oh my.
Takes that's a bit surprising because now black does have the connected pawns.
Exactly.
Even d2. But now rook c5. That's not easy at all now.
Was a nice move, yeah.
Queen a6, d1. So the pawn is so close to promoting. 1 second.
Oh my.
And queen c5. Is there... Why didn't you give a check first on e3?
That's a very good question. Maybe he was afraid some king f4.
1 second. I think now
No, this is
Wow.
unclear.
Yeah,
This is
now
now
DANIIL is probably in the
very
driver's
unclear.
seat. I mean, maybe they're gonna make a draw here.
Maybe, yeah. Oh,
Queen F3, Rook D3.
no,
No.
no. That was,
Wow.
oh my,
That's crazy.
no, Hans, I think also Hans had a draw in his pocket right now. Like you said, he could have made a draw. Because
What
I
a
don't think black could have played on.
Yeah, I think so
Um,
too. What a heartbreaking loss.
oh no, but he just blundered a pin on the queen and now it's over. Oh, 6-4 for DANIIL DUBOV. This was the very exciting first game of the day.
Yeah,
um, I
unbelievable.
I have no comment. In fact, I will try to check slightly on what was the evaluation. In fact, DANIIL was mostly in the driving seat, but
Yeah, it did
then
look like it.
no, but when Hans pushed the F pawn, then it was just big domination by Hans and these
Yeah,
beautiful tactics. Oh my. Do you think Hans is heartbroken after this blunder?
he has to be such a heartbreaking loss here.
Yeah, how do you recover from something like this? It's the first game when you blunder. It's so hard.
It's so difficult, especially that he has to sit down again and immediately play the next
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I was so frustrated, but that's when I play my best attacking chess. So we will see if Hans will also play his best attacking chess right now. Playing the slow defense, so doesn't want to go into the Catalan. I respect that. I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah.
either against DANIIL DUBOV.
And we see a repetition in opening choice with the Slav defense, which we already had once, but definitely Hans prepared something here.
I mean, Queen D1, I don't think it's the main move. I think Queen C2 is the main move, if I'm correct, by my opening notes. So
yeah, definitely.
This is, again, DANIIL playing a slightly sideline-ish opening, but bishop pair for Hans now.
Bishop pair for Hans, yeah, and the pawn majority on the queen side.
Yeah, I didn't like DANIIL taking on c4. This is not something I would usually do. I would go for something like Queen e2 myself, but I guess that's fine.
Yeah, the position is still very unbalanced now. White has to be careful not to end up worse, as you said.
Exactly.
A3.
Okay. I want to take the center. I want to play e4, probably e5, d5, you know. I have the ideas, just I don't know if they work.
Yeah, I think that was also why you played a3 to prepare e4, and a5 once again stopping that idea.
Okay, castle, very simple. I like this knight on e5, just no threats yet. Queen f3, okay. Idea also could be queen b7. 8-6, simple, making a space for the king in the future.
Yeah, bishop h4 back, not giving up the next bishop, bishop e8.
Oh,
that's an interesting move, not allowing white to regain the bishop pair.
I like that. I like it. Keep the bishops close, and then when the endgame starts, you know, just run over your opponent with the bishop pair.
And rook c1 already anticipating b4. Knight d5.
Okay, now...
Are there some tactics now? Because d5 is a bit loose. Okay, knight takes e7 does seem like it's holding everything together.
Fair, it's a fair move, but now knight d4 in the future, and I have knight c5.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
very
those
nice
dark squares are weakened now.
Very nice square. I wonder, yeah, f6, and how are we taking advantage of this bishop on e8? Do we play bishop h5 or?
Yeah, I would love to do that. At the moment, b5 is still hanging, so maybe I need to prepare it with queen b6. Maybe a move like that.
Can I go for b4, or is that too much?
b4 also, yeah. Completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I just want to push these pawns, you know?
Yeah, b4 is committal though. c4 is going to be quite weak after that. And he tries to prepare it with queen b6 first.
Yeah, and protecting everything. Like you said, bishop h5 is the plan. Oh, you're allowing me to play b4 myself, Daniel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for it.
Probably
I will
you
not
have to.
question you twice. Yeah.
b4, but knight e4, and how do you protect c4?
We'll think about it later. I don't know. I guess I have to go queen a6, but then knight d2 is ugly.
Yeah.
Let's see what Hans has in mind. Going c3, b takes c3, b3. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, that's probably too much.
I was thinking about those ideas as well, but
Okay, this is actually hard. What if I go f5? You probably go knight c5, right?
yeah, knight c5 is what I want to play next.
Oh, what if I go bishop g6 though?
Yeah, I also thought knight c5 there.
Yeah, I wanted to somehow put my bishop to d3.
And he goes for your idea, c3 right away.
Okay. I was not so positive about that.
And
Okay,
b3 on the board.
okay. I'm happy. I'm happy. But what? I go rook cb1. Okay, or even queen
Yeah,
b2.
just queen b2, blockading the pawn for good.
I'm
Also,
not sure if I like it, because one knight will come to c5 and the other one on d2. And how am I protecting the b3 pawn? I don't see my plan.
Yeah, b3 looks like a powerful pawn, but it might actually fall as well. As you mentioned, knight c5 is coming.
Yeah, actually, I want to check where we went wrong with black pieces, because in fact, bishop e8 was a better position for black. 0.5 says ENDGAME.AI. So I just wonder, where did we go wrong? Queen b6 was apparently not the best move to go for. And before, actually c3 was a good move, but b3 was a mistake.
Okay, but
b takes c3 was a better plan.
Wow, just playing with the pawn down and looking for compensation there?
I know, yeah, but the thing is that queen is coming to b4, so some a4 pawn would be hanging in the future. And now the engine says already plus 2.5.
Yeah.
Hard, very
Looks
hard.
like b3 is falling.
Oh, also only 14 seconds for Hans, and b3 is falling. He will try, but I would consider resignation already.
Yeah, 5 seconds. Look at DANIIL's time management. Almost 2 minutes on the clock still.
Come on, Hans, you got this. He plays very well, but sometimes he just makes these weird, maybe tactical decisions. Not weird, interesting, but they don't work against DANIIL DUBOV.
Yeah. DANIIL is so strong tactically as well.
Yeah.
And
oh,
now
so
already 3 pawns, yeah.
So many pawns hanging. Of course, not over. This bishop on a8 has some tricks up his sleeve, maybe some checkmate on g2, of course. With 8 seconds on the clock, that's gonna be almost impossible.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be very tough.
Yeah, so they play 9 games today. This is already second game of the day, so 7 more to go. Nothing is lost. I think Hans came back in the previous match like with 3 or 4 wins in a row. So of course we believe that Hans can still do it and can do it again. But I think DANIIL just showing very, very good chess so far.
Oh, okay. Unbelievable. Queen exchange sacrifice, but
trying something.
Go back with the knight, and Hans resigns. Knight g3. Yeah, I think this last game really was hard for him to digest. I mean, losing that position must be.
Yeah, with basically a queen up, he was afraid of the opponent's d pawn, but at the end his f pawn promoted to a queen. He thought this is now an easy win. Why is my opponent not resigning? And then suddenly complications started, and this heartbreaking blunder in the end.
Yeah, that was the worst. Yeah, like one move, you still have to draw, and then only one move, and then it just, then it's just lost. It's so hard to imagine what he must be going through.
Somehow DANIIL has been playing this amazing chess with white pieces, almost unbreakable. I don't know. Yeah, this position that Hans had with Queen B6, we thought, okay, this is now fine. He has this bishop on E8, and suddenly everything collapsed. Maybe also because of this psychological blunder that happened in the previous game, like you said, Felix.
Yeah. And again, E4, knight C6, D4.
Okay. Again, going for the same opening. We will
C3.
not see knight F3 yet.
And F4.
Okay.
Without any hesitation. So I think that's also what is sort of the main line, because white wants to stabilize the center and being able to capture on E5 with the F pawn just to keep the nice pawn chain intact. And maybe in the meanwhile, someone in the chat can point out what this opening is actually called, because we have no clue.
Yes, please.
Having a look at the YouTube chat. So if some of you guys can let us know, it would be very much appreciated.
Yeah, that would be very nice to know, because what is this knight doing on C6? Usually this knight on C6 is just not it, you know. It's, you usually want to push C5 yourself. So
yeah,
like you said, this is usually good for white, but DUBOV just well prepared here as well. H5 also, wow. Was the plan to stop G4, or
yeah,
what
I think that's the main plan. If G4 would come, then white would gain even more space. And with H5, then it's going to be significantly harder for white to make G4 work. Are we still going to see long castle?
Yeah, now when white played F4, this F6 move that is typical in this structure, it's not doing its job. So I think, okay, we will first see bishop E7, I think, and then after we will consider what are we gonna do.
By the way, it's called the Nimzovich, I think. And now I also remember, because I even have one book on that opening by, I think, the French Grandmaster Christian Bauer. But I just couldn't remember what it was called. But I think it's the Nimzovich.
Yeah, also, I also see in the chat they're confirming that. So I believe you guys. Yeah, no, very interesting opening. I always thought it was dubious, but I guess for Blitz, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he doesn't want to go for Italian anymore. I guess he was sick of losing yesterday with the black pieces. And that's very fair. Very fair. I completely understand his choice.
But now we have quite some developments, and white managed actually to get this G4 move in, which now dislocates the knight on F5, which black is usually not so happy about, because the knight on F5 is a nice piece. But on the other hand, black has the open H file now.
I agree, but we cannot really take big advantage of it, because this bishop on F8, it's a bit sad right now.
Yeah.
I wonder how we will develop the pieces. I like king F2. I think king on E8 will stay in the center. Well, it cannot castle anymore anyway, but it's the safest there. I just really wonder how black will develop now. I think this can go bad very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if rook H1 could come at some moment, then white actually takes control of the H file. So at some moment, the bishop on F8 needs to get out. Yeah, he goes for knight C6, which does look like the most natural square.
But I go rook H1 anyway.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
Because before, at least I couldn't do it, so A4 pawn was hanging at the end.
Yeah.
But now I just want to play it. Maybe you want to take on D4. Maybe that's the plan, and then put some piece on B4 if you let me.
Yeah, I think that might be his plan. I would also love to make some king D8, king C7 work at some moment, but I think it might be too adventurous.
Looks fun, but I wouldn't dare to play it yet. But what are we doing now? Okay, so maybe rook H1 by Hans is slightly too fast, even though I'm not afraid of it. Okay, I think again you're losing the pawn on A4 because of c takes D4, for example, bishop takes D4, knight D4, knight D4, and then A4 is hanging at the end. But is that so bad?
Yeah, it's gonna come down to a race then. If black picks up a4, but white is able to enter on h8, is
Yeah.
white able to have enough threats there? I would also be thinking
Mhm.
about going queen b5,
Same, yeah.
but he goes for king g3 just.
Okay, putting a king on a six square.
And bishop takes d4.
Yay, my move. Bishop takes d4. Yeah, we do not want to take c takes d4 because of b4 square. And somehow I prefer to keep my knight in this position. So, of course, because we have a closed pawn structure and knight would be better usually. Usually, not always.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we see rook h1 on the board, which I think makes a lot of sense, especially after the bishop has moved from f8, because now rook h8 is always going to come with a check. If DANIIL takes on h1.
If he does, yeah?
Yeah, he goes rook g8 instead.
Okay, that's a bit risky because now queen h7 can come in system.
And Hans goes for it. Knight e7.
Okay. Nothing is hanging for DANIIL now, but
queen d3 back.
I guess Hans struggling to make a plan. I mean, I completely understand. It's a question, where do you break through?
f5. I didn't see that coming, I have to say.
Me neither. I didn't think it was an option. Would you go g5 here or take on f6? Probably g5, right? Or none of that?
I'm just shocked. f5 is coming out of the blue sky.
Yeah,
how do you come up with such a move?
Well, I guess DANIIL is a person that needs activity, and this position was not very active for him. So he was just like, where can I get some chances? And he's just creating them.
He goes knight g5. Okay. But I have to say f5 is a brilliant idea, because if white captures en passant, then the rook on g8 is going to participate in the game. Yeah. And now, as we can see now, the knight is going to f5 and has a pretty nice square there.
That's why I wanted to play g5 to just gain more space.
Yeah, I think that might have been the best choice there. He goes for knight f5. Does some knight takes e6 work at some moment? Knight e6, maybe there's knight h6 with check still.
By the way, g5 was the best move with advantage 0.5, and knight g5 is now 0-0, obviously, as chess is always 0-0 somehow.
But I feel like the momentum is shifting a little bit, because the king on g4, yeah, it's quite safe, but that could change any second. Speaking about seconds, DANIIL DUBOV on 1 second.
Wow.
We need 7, queen a6 entering, queen d7 back, rook h8, 2 seconds, 1 second, king e7.
How does he do it? I would lose on time 5 times already.
b6, rook c6, and Hans is just picking up all of the pawns.
Some tactics, but now winning the queen.
Rook h7, okay. Yeah, queen b4 also winning. Wow.
Finally, yeah. Wow, Hans came back after these 2 losses. Wow, this was dramatic turn of events. I feel like DANIIL played a great opening again, but no time to...
Yeah.
No time and no space. This, like you said, momentum definitely shifted. But very, very nice. It shows that having an open file like Hans did with the 8 rooks, even though it's 0-0, it's much easier to play for white.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
what a game.
Yeah, no, I mean, all of the games were crazy. The score now is still 7-5 for DANIIL, so he's still leading by 2 points, but again, they still play 6 games today. And I believe that Hans can come back, maybe even win a match. Guys, what are your predictions? I want to know in the chat. We see you, and thank you everybody for following this match. I hope you're as excited as we are, and if you have a chance, check ENDGAME.AI and join the waitlist to chat there as well. Yes,
absolutely. I have to say, like, there's so many people in the chat, and we have to say that there's currently the Norway chess event, arguably the biggest event in chess in the whole year, of course, next to the World Championship match, but still so many people are watching. So that definitely means something, that Yeah, you are
Yeah,
watching this event.
exactly. So chess is very popular everywhere, and this match is it shows that it's not nothing. In fact, it's I think a very, very dramatic match because it's also blitz. I love that it's in the blitz format, and I love that both players are so aggressive with their ideas and their openings. I'm just shocked by e4 knight c6, the Nimzovich defense, like you guys said it was called. Dubov always coming prepared with some crazy tricks.
Yeah, I'm still really curious what he has planned if
Yeah.
Hans goes knight f3 on the second move, because there are some lines where black doesn't go e5, but they're not so great. And yeah, I would love to see Hans go e4 knight c6 knight f3. That's my wish for today. That's all I need to see.
Yeah, and also somebody said in the chat, so instead of going e5, knight c3 would be more challenging for black. Would you say so? That's an interesting line.
You mean after e4 knight c6?
E4, knight c6, d4, d5, knight c3. I think that's what they were saying. Maybe what do you think Dubov has planned on that? Taking on e4?
I saw one cool line there once. It was that after knight c3, black goes knight f6, and after e5, knight d7.
Okay.
Now, the question is, do you take on d5 with the knight?
Ah, okay, I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna do it? Then
Yeah.
I'm gonna play knight d to b8.
Okay. If I go c4, you go e6.
Yes, and I'm gonna capture on d4 next.
That's good. Damn.
So this line with knight d7, it's not fully okay, but white cannot capture on d5. Then black
I
is
go
totally
e6,
fine.
Right? Would be e6 a good move instead of taking
e6,
on d5?
e6 maybe also, but I think something natural like knight f3
Okay.
or some move like that.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
well, that's
yeah, you want to take the pawn. You're just like, oh, you give me a pawn, you're taking, and then knight b8. Wow.
yeah.
That's a brilliant move.
It's just such a funny idea, especially the knight from g8 goes to f6 and then to d7 and then to b8 back. So that's pretty cool.
Okay, that's very interesting. Hopefully we will see. Now they're having a short break, very short, to get some fresh air, to check their openings. And maybe Hans will check what to play on this, and I'm sure we will see a different variation. Not sure, but maybe we'll see a different variation as well. Maybe Felix's choice of going knight f3 as well.
I hope so.
Yeah, and let's see, the players are already ready to play. So I think they have like 3 to 5 minute break, right? It's not something huge, maybe just like toilet break.
Yeah, I think just whenever someone needs to take a short break, they do it. Otherwise, they just really play game after game. And
Very
another
tough.
Slav exchange.
Okay.
Bishop f4, bishop f5, queen b3.
Hans got a very interesting position in the last law. I think I liked his position, so he's going
maybe
for the
we're
same
gonna
one.
see a repetition here. Last game you mentioned bishop takes e4.
Yeah.
Was not your
Not my favorite
move,
move,
but still
but
DANIIL repeats it. I mean, he won the game after all.
yeah,
so
exactly. So something must have worked, and they're actually repeating the second game. I just wonder a3. Okay, very, very good. I just wonder where Hans will deviate. I think that he's gonna be the one going for it.
still he's gonna go a5, because I thought maybe he wants to wait with that so that in case white goes a4 at some moment, he can still keep his pawn chain intact with a6.
Yeah, I guess I wonder if he checked his position before. This is exactly the same position, except he went h6 last time. So maybe he's gonna go for it now. h6, bishop h4, that happened in the previous game.
And he goes for it, but at some moment there should be an improvement.
So here queen b6 was not the best move.
He still goes, didn't he go knight d? No, this was
he went for this, yeah.
This was the exact same game.
Yeah, this was exactly the same. Now f6 was played. Oh,
he goes for a4.
Okay.
That's a very interesting decision.
That's a choice. Not something I would do with my e8 bishop, for sure. But
yeah.
Okay.
Because now you never have b4 anymore. Of course, white also cannot attack your pawns anymore on the queen side. but white has chances to play in the center with e4 and d5. And what does black do?
In the previous game, it was f6, knight f3, and then queen b6, and queen b6 was not the best move by the engine because of a4. So a4 by black is...
Bishop g6, but b5 is hanging.
Oh, did you see him shaking his head?
But
he saw it immediately.
He saw it in time, bishop c6, but now e4 and d5 could come with the tempo.
Yeah, now this is scary. Like, I don't like my bishop anymore. We had a bishop pair at the beginning, and now this bishop. When you play a4 with your white squared bishop, it looks like strategical suicide almost.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting choice by Hans. Nothing is over. This is still very playable, but Felix, would you take the two knights here?
Definitely, yeah. Especially considering the fact that Hans's pawns on the queen side are not going anywhere at the moment. And d5 is looming.
Again, a passed pawn coming to life. I don't like to play against a passed pawn like this. It looks way too scary for me. But if you play d5, I'm gonna take it and then maybe put my bishop on g4, f5, and maybe on d3. So it's not so black and white.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You also have the idea, even after d5, just to keep everything closed with e5. That might also be one option at some moment, just to keep everything solid.
Yeah, even keep the close position, even though I would not want to do it, because with my bishop on d7, this is something that I don't want to play with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and putting both rooks on the open, potentially open files. I like that idea by DUBOV. And rook d8 is very
We have to
normal.
say that Hans's time management is now much better in this game. So that's really going well.
Exactly, yeah. He's been doing well so far.
And definitely a playable position. And DUBOV goes for e5. So at some moment, he needed to make a decision. And f5, keeping it close, and now d5, important. Otherwise, black is in time for bishop c6.
Very good to point that out.
And I think he might go for knight d4 here just for complete domination, and he goes for it.
Oh, that's a very nice spot. Yeah, now this knight on d4 shows that knights in close positions are just dominating. So we don't care about this pawn up when this bishop on d7 is useless.
Yeah.
I like this bishop e6, but somehow now white has compensation for sure.
That's for sure, yeah. Compensation for sure, but still, how does white continue? Are you gonna take on f5? Probably not, right? Because then the d pawn is gonna start rolling.
I think d4 is too big of a threat. f4 though. That's
just cementing the pawn on e5, but now comes the counterplay b4.
Yeah, okay. How actually it's not so clear, but what if I go rook a1, you go rook a8? Okay.
Wow. Now what's going on here? Is he gonna go for d4, rook f8 first?
No, yeah, this is now a slight mess. b2 will be hanging, e6 is hanging potentially,
slight
f5
mess
is coming.
Slight mess is an understatement.
f5 is coming. This is a huge threat now for Hans. Can I stop it? Rook e8 maybe.
d5 also hanging, and f5 is coming.
Hanging. Oh no. If I go d4, I think f5 is way too strong. I don't want to allow that.
Yeah, d4.
Also, after d4, you can take rook d4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rook
g6
fair. And now, how do I proceed? d4 now, maybe.
d4, but queen d5. He goes for it. Queen d5 check. You go to h8.
I guess, yeah.
Oof.
b2 will also be hanging, and I hope that you don't have a lot of counterplay, that much of counterplay. Also, g2 will be a big threat, so I'm considering playing f5 if there's an option, but maybe it's not even a threat. I still can go rook h8. Okay,
Yeah, he goes
sorry,
for
can you check?
f5 and rook g5. So now f5 is also a bit weak. Queen d5 check. King h8.
Okay.
And e6. So rook takes f5 probably fails because you can capture on f5. Also e7 right away.
Oh yeah, e7 right away is dramatic.
So that was a nice find by DUBOV.
I am scared now.
Yeah, me too.
In fact, I'm extremely scared. Everything is hanging and e7 is coming. How can I stop you? Queen d8, maybe, but again, e7.
Maybe you can throw in rook d8 and he goes for it.
Oh, but okay, besides still
Is there
going
an option to take on d8 and go e7? Rook d8, queen d8, e7?
Yeah, because I'm forced to go queen e8 and rook d4, but no, not necessary, I think.
Not necessary. He goes queen c4.
Yeah.
I thought he might take on b2 now. He does take on f5.
E7, yeah, and can I go queen a4 or something, or just
it looks really scary for black to hold on. Queen g6 also. D4 could be hanging at some moment.
Yeah, I think I can just take rook d4 or queen d4, maybe
rook d4. Maybe there's rook d4. Maybe there was rook e7 trying to use the back rank weakness. So that's why he keeps it covered. Queen takes d4 should be a technical win. h3, very nice move. Rook e7 does not work yet because of queen d8. So Hans goes king h7.
Oh.
Queen d7, yeah, this does.
Yeah, okay, so I guess this was necessary, but...
Yeah, rook f2, I think the best try. Maybe he can get queen g6 in. But is queen takes e8 working at some moment?
I don't think
Probably
so,
not
because
yet.
of queen g6 later.
Yeah, and there's the checkmate threat on g2.
But yeah, queen g6, his last try. They're down on seconds.
1 second, and
0.
he flags. Yeah.
Okay, I think it was lost, but
yeah.
It's so hard to comment these positions when they're so low on time, because everything's a mess and everything's hanging. And but I love dramatic games, dramatic finish for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm going to check if Hans was ever in some nice position.
Yeah, we also have people in the chat asking what went wrong and what did go wrong.
Okay, so finally at the whole game was loaded, and what did go wrong? In fact, like even so, you know, when DANIIL went knight d4, we were very impressed with that move. You suggested it. So bishop e6 was probably not the best move to go for. Maybe black could have opened with f4 himself, but that's fine. It's still around equal. Where did it go wrong for Hans?
We see a kickoff on the next game already.
Yeah.
And we see another Italian. No more e4 knight c6, unfortunately.
Oh, damn. We're so excited to see something. Yeah, no, so this game was just, the previous game was too hard to evaluate even for the engine, so I cannot tell you exactly where it went wrong, but just great game by DANIIL, I can say.
Absolutely. And another Italian, DUBOV sticking to his system with bishop on e7, going h6 and rook e8, and then bishop e6. We saw something quite similar yesterday as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, all these Italian positions are very similar to me, at least, you know. Very similar positions happening all the time. Except yesterday, I was impressed with DANIIL's idea knight d4, c5, but this, of course, couldn't be played here. Yeah, c3.
d4 was a nice idea. I also still remember that from yesterday.
Yeah.
And now we see the typical capture on d5, which does give up the bishop pair, but on the other hand, white now has the double pawns. And the d5 pawn is a little bit weak. Is he going to go for queen b3?
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it was forced. I didn't see any other option. But now, how are we proceeding with black pieces? Rook b8.
Yeah, I like that move. At some, well, b5 is a threat already.
b5. Oof. Have to go a4 maybe.
Yeah.
Or queen a2.
But
I
A4,
like this.
C6, D6, does it work? D takes C6, D5.
D5, wow, brilliant. Does it work? That's a very good question. I guess it works because I would then have to take on B7, you take on C4, and then you somehow take my B7 pawn. Queen A2 maybe then a forced move, yeah.
And it's what he played, but Queen on A2, not such an attractive square.
Exactly, but we have to deal with what we have on the board.
Yeah.
Hans decided to take with the pawn on D5, and this is what we have now. And could have taken with the bishop, so he could have played C4, but we have to deal with what is in the moment. That's chess, sadly. How many times I want to take back my move? Probably in every game at least 5 times. So sadly, then you have to realize that this is the moment and you have to finish the game.
Absolutely. And
yeah,
still,
Queen A2.
Hans has the bishop pair, which if the position opens up, could be definitely something he can play for.
I mean, tell me about C6. Can I still go for it?
I was calculating it. C6,
Okay.
D6, D5 was still an option.
I liked it, but DANIIL keeps it close, doesn't want to open the C4 bishop. I respect that. I don't want to open that bishop also.
Yeah, definitely reasonable. Knight G6, also very natural square. Bishop E3 hitting A7. DUBOV goes for A6, and now B4, a nice move. Because whenever B5 comes now, the bishop is going to be much happier behind the pawn on B3.
Absolutely. Also, bishop B3, C4, and then rerouting this bishop through maybe D1 in the future or C2 looks very simple. So now the question is, could black go for something like knight h5, f5? Or maybe knight f4 also, yeah?
He goes for it.
Some attack coming. I like the f5 ideas because this bishop on b3 is closed.
Yeah, I think he might go for that. It would be very much in DUBOV style.
Yeah, and it would be for sure.
Hans, well, with white, I would say you want to play on the queen side here. Slow play with a4, a5, trying to gain space. But are you going to be in time?
That looks so slow, yeah. Something that you want to play maybe in classical game, but not in blitz, in my opinion, because it can get so scary. Queen e2, threatening some knight jumps in the future from f3, maybe some knight e5s coming in the future, of course, not working right now.
Goes for f5 anyway. So does knight takes e5 work here?
Yeah, that's a big surprise, but I guess knight f4 is something that DUBOV has in mind, and it would be lost.
Yeah, he goes for a4 instead. What a call move. I don't think I will be able to make that. DUBOV is coming at me with f5, with knight on h5, and Hans has all the nerves in the world just to improve his position on the queen side.
Oh, wow, but you guessed it. You have to play on the queen side, gain some space here, not be afraid of DANIIL's f5.
Easier said than done.
Yes, for sure. I wouldn't be able to do it either, especially because I don't see it being a fast attack somehow.
Yeah.
But maybe black also doesn't have an easy attack.
Yeah, whenever he goes for f4, then the light squares are going to be very weak. And king h7 just stepping out of the diagonal. But now Hans is having considerable counterplay.
Yeah, now your ideas are coming to life. Finally, we opened something on the queen side. Bishop finally from c4 that was closed is opening up.
And you have the passed a pawn.
Oh, I like this. I like this for Hans.
At knight d5, knight takes b6 might be a threat.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, kind of missed that as well, but
still everything is covered. If knight b6, rook b6 comes in the game, rook b8, a move I like quite a lot.
Same. I want to open something with d4, c4. So I like this knight d2, but yes, just knight b6. And how am I protecting my b pawn with white pieces?
I think that might be why he played knight d2 to have knight c4 in some cases, but
some cases though.
The pawn on b6 does look quite weak if DANIIL captures on b6 now.
This is very interesting. Maybe I don't have to capture on Queen a7?
Yeah.
Oh, just rook c8.
Rook
Wow.
c8, so now a5 is hanging. And
do we have to go a6? But that looks scary.
he
Okay.
goes for knight b3.
Okay.
Protecting a5. Yeah,
but now
anything can
this-
happen here. Oh, bishop d8. Bishop d8 is coming.
Yeah.
And now a6.
Okay, at least rook is coming to b7, but after rook c7, I'm not sure.
Yeah, how are you gonna cover the a6 pawn?
I just want to use some tactics, take something on c6, play knight a5, take something on c6. Can I do something like that?
Oof.
Play knight a5? Oof,
Goes back rook b6. Are we gonna see a repetition here?
I think DUBOV would be extremely excited to draw, because then he only needs one more point to win the match.
Absolutely.
So Hans has to decide if he has something. Otherwise, better to make a draw than to lose.
Yeah, but wow, DUBOV plays on 97.
Whoa, yeah, low on time for Hans. That's a shocker. So DUBOV never settles for a draw. That's something that we learned from this game.
And
oh no, he's lost
2
now.
seconds.
Oh, Hans is now completely
Yeah, he's
lost.
gonna lose the pawn and also the bishop on a4.
Wow.
Is misplaced.
A pawn down, but still not over. King on h7 is not extremely safe with this bishop. Maybe coming on c2 later.
Is there bishop takes f2 now?
Why? Oh, because king f2, queen a7.
Yeah, but there's c5 there. He doesn't go for it.
D4.
And c5 on the board. Bishop c5, d4. Counterplay is coming. Queen f5 is...
I love this.
Rook
Bishop c2 is a
a4.
threat.
Rook a4, then knight h4 perhaps?
Yeah, knight h4 for sure.
Wow, 2 seconds.
Very scary for DUBOV. 2 seconds.
1 second.
Whoa.
And he loses on time. Wow.
Okay, this was unexpected turn of events. I feel like this was lost for Hans. In fact, I feel like this position, yeah, it was -2 at some point. But wow.
What a great comeback. Definitely deserved
sacrificed
win.
all the pawns for the activity. And actually, Felix, queen takes f5. After rook f8, it's already +1 for white. So
wow.
Even with so many pawns down, that's crazy.
Yeah, what a resource he found with this move d4.
Yeah. And also, rook takes a4 would be a draw after knight h4. Not even lost, it's just a draw. Some repetition after rook a8, which is crazy. Did you expect this result? I didn't.
Not at all. Not at all, I have to say. But I'm super happy to see it because now there's, we might see a comeback and the match is not over yet.
Exactly. It's 8 against 6 for DANIIL, so still leading for 2 points, but first one to 9.5 wins the match. And none of them are that close yet. So, okay, we have a game on the way, another slaw. I respect Hans for not going for Catalan again. I just want to see what he's going to improve from the previous opening.
Yeah, queen b3, this line. So in the previous games today, he played the move bishop f5, but we saw a6 already.
Yesterday, which was followed by rook a7. So now Hans checked, I guess he checked knight h5.
And DANIIL not going into the move repetition, but instead going for e3. And we see pretty slow play here. Both of the bishops are a bit passive, bishop on d2 and the bishop on c8.
Yeah, this is something that you don't want to have this bishop on c8, but like we saw yesterday, this is actually the best computer move, apparently, to just keep it there. And now we're going to see if Black will manage to activate it somehow. Or exchange it. I would love to exchange this bishop on d7.
Yeah, me too. 95, very instructive moment. I think that DANIIL wants to go for f4, cementing the knight on e5. And after that, maybe some kingside attack is possible. We often see f4 in connection with queen f3, queen h3.
Exactly.
And
it's very scary. It's, in fact, almost over.
Yeah, f4
not
is
by
coming.
Computer variation, but we're humans after all.
bishop b4, lovely move, because now the e4 square is weakened. So Hans might think about just giving up his bishop, but to be able to control the e4 square.
Okay, but after queen f3, you cannot do it because knight e4 is not a threat yet. I want to go g4 with white. Oh, this is such an exciting. This is going to be an exciting game again. A huge attack on the way for white, I think.
Knight e7, queen h3 as expected.
But now, do you want to go bishop c3 and knight e4 maybe?
Yeah, I would definitely be thinking about it.
Yeah,
and I think he's
going
going for it as well.
Maybe not knight e4. Does he want to go something else? Knight g6? No, right?
Well, you could think about knight g4 just to have fun, but after knight g4, you of course don't have to take.
Yeah,
but you can go for knight e4 probably.
Yeah, exactly. It's something to consider, and DANIIL is doing it. But you know what bothers me? If when you take on c3, I want to go bishop b5 actually.
Ah, that's a great positional idea.
Yeah, just to finally exchange this d7 bishop for this amazing d3 bishop. Like this bishop on d3, my favorite piece right now. And if I exchange it, I'm very happy with black.
Now it all makes sense. All of Hans's moves, bishop b4, knight e7, probably he saw all of that.
Yeah.
Giving up the bishop and then getting bishop b5. So he takes with the pawn.
Okay.
Which does create a further weakness. And
oh, c4. Oof. This looks,
so he wants to keep the bishop on d3 on the board at any cost, but I think this might be what Hans is quite happy with, because all of these light squares are just so weak. We see knight f5, maybe knight d6 could be considered next.
Knight d6, okay, yeah, because my first thought after knight f5 was going g4. But maybe even knight d4 could be a threat, not now, but looks
You're right,
scary.
yeah.
Looks scary for sure. But after g4, knight d6, g5.
I thought I still have everything covered if I go knight fe4 or even take bishop takes c4.
Yeah, bishop c4, I would go rook c4.
Okay.
But maybe then you can still go knight c4, and after g takes f6, you go g6, and everything's fine. So maybe g4 is way too much, and I think DANIIL will not play it. But what can he play? Would you go for a4 just to distract this bishop and then attack with g4?
Yeah, a4 if DUBOV would, if Hans would have to take on a4, then it would definitely be something I would consider. But after a4, are there any other moves, tactical ideas? Bishop takes c4.
Yeah, bishop takes c4. I don't know. Let's say I go rook c4. Okay, queen f3.
He does go queen f3 back.
I think Hans is happy with this move because now h7 is not a huge threat anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I think Hans is taking over here.
Yeah. Very, very nice bishop b5 idea. I think we all missed it because they were blitzing out the moves, but Hans had a very good idea in mind when he played knight e7.
Yeah, so many attractive ideas here to consider. Still, knight takes d4, your idea from earlier, might be something which Hans is calculating now.
The problem with it's always you have queen e3, right?
Queen e3, yeah, you're right, and there is no continuation there.
Maybe rook d8, but
yeah,
I think it's too much
seem
for
to
blitz,
go on,
you
yeah.
know?
So he plays it very positional, bishop c6 and rerouting the bishop to e4.
Exchanging this one.
Yeah, finally he's going to be able to exchange this light squared bishop.
Yeah, I'm very happy for this bishop right now. Just being active. Yeah, okay, but this is still very interesting. This b6 square can be annoying for black.
Goes queen e7, not running into any forks on b6.
And now how... Okay, I still like white's pawn structure because we are taking advantage of the center. We have the center.
I love what Hans just did. b5, allowing the queen to go to b7 and protecting the knight on e4. Strategically speaking, DUBOV is in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, because of white squares that you mentioned before,
Mm-hmm.
and some tactics now on the board, knight c6. This is not a free knight. Sadly, e4 knight is hanging as well. So very cool move.
Goes back, knight f6.
But what now? Yeah, what does Daniil have in mind? Only 20 seconds.
Yeah,
I think he's struggling slightly.
definitely he has to move the knight or protect it somehow.
Well, I was also considering to play something like e4, but probably waste of time. But 6 seconds, Daniil has to play knight
And
e5
he goes
actually.
back knight e5, queen d5.
Oh, Hans definitely in the driver's seat right now.
And h5 immediately. Look at this light square control. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's like it's such a nice harmony. But rook c5, 5 seconds.
So if
I wonder.
I take on c5,
Yeah.
how is he gonna capture? With a pawn.
Yeah,
Creating a passed pawn, but e3 is hanging.
And another endgame with a pawn down. Always this
DUBOV,
endgames with a pawn down.
only 1 second. Pawn down. Look at those beautiful knights on c4 and d5.
Yeah.
Okay,
Who needs the bishops when the knights are so nice?
well, this is still tricky. The pawn on b5 is not so easy to defend.
Yeah. This is not easy at all. And DUBOV playing on seconds, but playing very well.
Yeah.
Oh, how am I defending it? 97.
So he takes, I like that, just to get rid of the pressure, but now he goes after the pawn on e5, but rook c1, now c6.
This can turn around. Oh no. How is he going to protect? 97, knight c8 looks lost to me.
Okay, to c7, there's still knight takes c7, but
Yes.
king f1.
King f1 or
Goes for bishop h4, b4, c7.
Oh, so low on time though. 4 seconds.
Wow.
3 seconds.
So he has to give up the rook. Oh, pawn on b3 is going. Oh, still bishop e1 protecting against rook a1 check.
But can white even move something?
I don't see how.
I don't think white can move. I think this is winning for black. Okay, maybe
Maybe
not
has to
winning, but oh
oh again. Again, the time decides the game.
Oh, this was again unexpected. I don't know. Actually, black is winning in the final position because white has no moves. So DUBOV should not be too upset, but very nice calculation that Hans gave a piece in exchange to put a pawn on b2. Very nice. Beautiful.
That was a really nice game by Hans Niemann.
Yeah, impressive. Even though this time management by DUBOV is getting shorter and shorter with his time. It's 8 against 7 now.
Mm-hmm.
Very close. They are taking a slight break to, so have some fresh air, coffee, chess player essentials, maybe some chocolate. I would love to have some chocolate between these games, especially because they're so stressful, Felix. So stressful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, 3 more games to go. 8 against 7 for Daniil, so still leading.
Yeah, but
I don't think
Hans
we can predict anything.
Yeah, Hans has been coming back now.
Exactly. So after 6 games, it's 3 against 3 today.
Mm-hmm.
So they are playing equally well. Very tactical, very dramatic, very quickly. This was actually maybe very strategical masterpiece by Hans, I would say.
Absolutely. The light square control was deciding the game. And Hans now winning 2 games in a row, I think.
Yeah, but on time. Both of them on time.
Yeah, that's true.
And like you said yesterday, it does come down to pure luck at the end. Hans was a queen up in the first game, but time, some blunders, and he lost at the end. So I think that's proof that luck does exist in chess. So we might see a lot of luck in the last 3 games.
Yeah, for sure, especially in blitz. Like you can never underestimate the factor of luck there. Your opponent, if it's like a split-second decision with seconds running down your clock, just anything can go in your mind. You just don't want to lose on time, and then all sorts of blunders can happen there.
Yeah. Oh, these blitz blunders. Are you ever like extremely upset after losing a blitz game?
Yeah, so many times already. Like, you cannot imagine the positions you're often losing in blitz. After that, you're looking back and you're just thinking, how did I manage to lose that position? But with seconds on the clock, anything is possible.
Exactly. But I think here in these blitz games, you have to be a huge endgame expert, because you can gain an advantage, you can be strategical mastermind, but at the end you're low on time and you have to win an endgame
Yeah.
very usually. Uh, would you say that if you play blitz, this is something you have to work on the most, or one of the most, maybe of course tactics first, right?
I would say tactics are first, yeah.
Mhm.
Also cannot underestimate the factor of opening preparation, because if you have
Yeah.
openings like, for example, DANIIL DUBOV, I think he's a perfect example. He has the openings which he always plays, and he plays them confidently, he plays them fast, and therefore he's such a strong opponent in blitz, because he's just playing the opening so fast and always has a time advantage in most
Exactly.
cases. So now we do see e4 knight c6 and knight f3, and DANIIL does transpose with going e5.
You finally got your answer, what would have happened, and we did. It's an Italian. So the one
Once
that we
again,
saw today already.
yeah, and DANIIL DUBOV going for the same setup as always with rook e8, bishop e6. And I guess that his point is always he wants to go rook e8 before going bishop e6, so that after knight e5 he can retreat the bishop to f8.
Exactly. And going
And
bishop a2 immediately. Okay,
yeah,
smart, because in the last game after c3, Daniel took on d5, and we had some issues, in the game with this pawn on d5. So
yeah.
Hans learned his lesson.
And here he goes back to d7 with the bishop, probably
Interesting.
preparing to take on d5 with the knight. And
Mhm.
c4, very interesting decision.
Yeah,
Hans
this
Niemann.
is now very interesting pawn structure. Yeah, like who is attacking where? I want to go rook b1, but I also want to, yeah, activate my bishop.
And now bishop b3 back, maybe going to a4. I have to say, I always loved how Hans handles these Italian positions. I often saw him playing for
Mhm.
the c4 idea, which is
Mhm.
quite untypical in the
Yeah,
Italian defense. Usually you want to go c3 and d4, building a big center.
exactly.
But he was kind of the first one to implement this type of strategy, which when I saw it at first, I was really curious about it.
Yeah, and he plays this structure so well, just very solid structure. And like you said, c3 didn't bring him a good position last time, but it did bring him luck. So now he's just going for his c4. In blitz, you kind of have to play what you know best, and he
Yeah,
seems to know best.
and there was a
Wow.
pawn which dropped on a5.
Was it a
That
blunder, or was
it
it
was
a...
a double attack, queen d2 attacking the pawn on h6 and the pawn on a5.
So that was missed by Dubo. I didn't see any shaking heads, so I was not sure.
Yeah, that's
You,
something quite
yeah,
easy. You can see you never really expect a double attack on a pawn on h6 and a pawn on a5.
yeah, yeah, it's true, especially in Italian positions. But this c4 seems to be proving very good points.
Hans just continuing to gain space on the queen side where he has the extra pawn, and Dubov going for the all-out attack on the king
I
side with
mean,
g5.
oh,
d4.
wow, does that work? Seems to be working to open up this bishop. Yeah, it's kind of a known saying that if you are getting attacked, just usually the best is to attack back in the center. It's where it's gonna hurt the most for the opponent to open the position there.
Yeah,
So Hans just following that advice that he got probably from one of his mentors or from many lessons that he took.
absolutely. See rook g8, f6, not really a move you want to make. Bishop on g7 is not really happy there. But still, there are some threats. With rook
Mhm.
g8, he's already hinting on the fact that g4 could come at some moment.
Yeah, it never feels comfortable when Dubo is attacking you, even though it's
Yeah,
your
yeah.
opponent. So I wouldn't be so sure that this is a game over. In fact, I would dare to say it can go wrong anytime. And Dubo, by the way, playing much faster right now.
Yeah, we have to keep a lookout on the clock. Dubov, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. King h8, just stepping out of the 7th rank with the rook being on a7. Nice move as well.
Okay, but how am I gonna play g4? Do you want to put your bishop on f8? I really thought we're gonna go bishop h8, actually.
I also thought so, yeah.
So that's an interesting plan. I don't know what Dubov has in mind, except that he wants to put Hans under time pressure. That's for sure something that he wants to do.
Yeah, I think that's also a great strategy. He realizes he's a pawn down, he has a bad position, so he just speeds up and puts the pressure on the clock on Hans.
Exactly, so that's smart, but I wonder, okay, bishop f8. I don't like this bishop there, but I guess we have to play g4 somehow.
Yeah, also king on h8 seems safer, first of all, because of the 7th rank, also because of the bishop on c2 that is always hinting on the fact that the king is there.
That could open up potentially. Okay, can I go knight h2? Seems to be very safe.
Yeah, he goes for that.
And I feel like the attack is almost over for black.
Yeah, still h5. As he played g4, still might be coming. I also have to agree. I don't think the attack should be enough, objectively speaking, but
but
as you said, when Dubov is attacking you, nothing feels easy.
It just doesn't feel comfortable at all. So I think, what if I go for g4 now as DANIIL? Is f4 hanging somehow?
I would think so. So if g4, h takes g4, so he takes on d5 first, which opens up the diagonal for the bishop on c2.
Not my favorite move for black, but I guess he had to do something about f4.
Yeah, you have to watch out with black in case the 7th rank opens up for the rook on a7. There's always rook h7 with checkmate.
Oh, that would be beautiful. If that's somehow like b6, like you put your bishop on h3 and then somehow there's checkmate on h7.
Yeah, exactly.
Just very sophisticated move, knight f1. Yeah, I don't see how black is pushing anything, in fact.
It's difficult. Yeah, maybe bishop h6 to prepare g4.
Smart.
But the bishop might also be hanging there. Queen f6 first. So he needs to protect f4. Yeah, now b6.
Cute, very cute.
Now he has to go all in.
Yeah, no
the queen
choice.
side is collapsing, but
20 seconds though for Hans.
Yeah. Bishop takes f4. I guess he needs to keep the queens on the board. He takes f4. Not so simple.
Ooh, just taking on g4. I would be considering something like h4 myself to keep everything close, but this seems to be a very good move.
Yeah, and how do you recapture? Are you going to take with the pawn? Dubov is definitely thinking about it, because it might be also an idea to keep the g file open, but he does capture with the pawn. The rook b1.
Yeah, and now I wonder, can I play some g3? But there's never any checkmate on h2, so...
He goes for it.
Okay, but I just take it now, right? Oh, just take on c7.
Take on c7 first, yeah. The knight on f1 is doing a beautiful job, always covering the h2 square.
I cannot say some queen h4 can come, but it doesn't mean anything. It has exactly 0 threats. Yeah, I think very clean so far by Hans. No fear for Dubov. I don't see, I think he can try taking and going queen h4 and maybe hoping for a trick, but...
Goes bishop g7. Maybe he wants to go queen d4 in some cases, but...
Okay, that's actually a fair idea. Smart.
Hans below 10 seconds. Now it's...
if he goes
can
for
be
b1,
tricky.
that's a very fearful move. Oh, but now...
idea of queen h5. Now bishop d4 is a big threat.
Yeah.
Just a few seconds for Hans. Queen d2 back.
But now queen e5 can also be
queen e5.
A trick.
Also 10 seconds for DANIIL Dubov.
Wow, okay, so this is not so clear. 5 seconds. Bishop
goes
c8,
back, bishop c8.
But I think, g4. These
Now bishop
bishops.
d4 is coming. This looks quite dangerous all of a sudden.
Very nice. Knight h2, king h1. Oh, king f1.
King f1 even, not staying on the h file.
Not taking any risk about giving a checkmate. Getting a checkmate, actually. Ooh,
Knight f3, e4 is hanging, but d4 is hanging as well.
Yeah, very nice.
I think that's game over.
I think this is GG as well. And yeah, also lost some time.
Yeah. Wow.
I
had a feeling like DANIIL DUBOV was back in the game. Let me just briefly.
Yeah, please do check it out. Especially after this queen e2 maneuver, I feel like there was. I think bishop c8 could have been wrong.
Bishop c8 was the fatal mistake, and HANS brilliantly took advantage of it by capturing on g3.
Okay, so instead of bishop c8, queen h4 was a move to be kept in the game. Wow, okay, that was dramatic. Again, like when DUBOV is attacking you, nothing is over, you know, he's attacking, he always has some ideas. I didn't even consider playing bishop g7 and going queen d4 or bishop d4. That was very resourceful of him.
Yeah.
But now, by the way, score is 8 against 8. So only 2 games left, and we have no leader anymore. So yeah, just 2 more games, and somebody just, you know, needs to make 1.5 to win. And there have been 0 draws in this match, 0. So it's going to be very exciting, and new game underway right now.
Yeah, and this time we see a completely new opening, which we're not really used to.
How this is like slaw, but with g3 as white. So this is not as good as the original Catalan. I think it's more stable for black, but it did transpose into closed Catalan right now. I think
it's quite similar, quite untypical that the bishop is on b4 in those positions. Usually it goes back to e7, but it's actually quite useful because e4 is not possible now, what white would like to get, because black can capture on c3 and then on e4.
Exactly. b6 also a great move. You want to put this bishop on a6 if you have the chance, but on b7 it's as good as well. Yeah.
And bishop g5 on the board.
Okay, now I will go, if I go h6, I guess knight d7 could be an idea, potentially. Yeah. Don't know if it works, but something to consider.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why HANS goes back bishop e7, breaking the pin.
Yeah, then you want to go h6 after that. You just want to push this bishop from the square, basically asking it where you're going. Oh, e4 now.
That's the thematic break. Opening up the bishop on g2. And what is HANS going to do here? It does look like white has achieved something here.
Yeah, okay, so I guess bishop e7 then was not such a great move, because if you allow e4, and if black bishop stays on b7, so I mean that he doesn't have c5 break, white is better.
Definitely. HANS is under pressure.
I think I will go knight e4, bishop e7, queen e7. Knight e4, d takes e4. What are you taking with the queen?
Probably
or the
with the bishop to
knight f6, and then I go maybe c5 if I can.
But can I take c6 there?
Oh, maybe you can. Maybe you can, yeah. So I cannot play knight f6. Correct, yeah. Knight e5, then maybe I would have to consider knight e5, but yes, this is not good for black. I agree. And HANS thinking for a minute already.
Yeah, rook c8. Ooh. Getting ready for the c file to open up. I like that move.
This is, I think, typical position where computer will now say +2 for white strategically. Yeah, it's +1. Yeah, okay.
Oh, so much even.
I know, I play this position sometimes myself, and I'm always so shocked that the engine loves this with white. Yeah, somehow this knight d7 could be very annoying, and after knight d7, bishop e7, and now it's just something opening on the d file, you know. We will see it on the board. I think DANIIL also knows these structures very well.
definitely. And he does capture with the queen.
Okay. Yes, this is usually the problem if you do capture with the queen.
Yeah, this structure looks pretty passive for black, kind of a French structure.
Yeah.
Where black is stuck with a bad French bishop on b7. And knight a4, also beautiful move. Pressuring the point on b6.
Ooh. Yeah, actually, going b5 would then allow knight jumping on c5 in the future.
Yeah.
But he goes for it.
Goes for it anyway.
Ooh.
So maybe DUBOV wants to take on b5 first and then go knight c5. That would be one idea. I think he's going for it. So the knight on c5, of course, super powerful piece.
Beautiful, very beautiful. And this bishop on c6 is now stuck behind his white pawns.
Yeah, strategically, this is looking very promising for DANIIL.
Yeah, so like this is again, Hans tried to play the slaw, but DUBOV did transpose into his Catalan position somehow. You know, he always manages to get what he wants from the opening. And also, he's up a minute in a blitz game. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a big upside for him here. Knight c7 and just immediately played rook c2, doubling up the rooks on the c file.
Very nice. This is a very hard position for Hans.
Yeah, super
very
tough.
Hard. You can go bishop b5, but somehow these two rooks on the c file seem to be brutal.
Yeah, it looks super good for white.
But how can I take advantage of it? Can I go f4? What would you do?
I would go h4 without hesitation here.
h4.
Just typical AlphaZero move.
Yeah.
h4, h5, anywhere.
Yeah, actually love that. Forcing black to play h6 himself, but I love that. I hope DANIIL will go for it.
Yeah, he's
I myself am more. Yeah, please go ahead.
He's spending some time here as well.
Yes, he should. But not too much, DANIIL, because then you're catching up on Hans's time.
Exactly, yeah.
And f4, it's, you know, the dynamic duo, you know, f4 always works. Maybe h4 will come in the future, though.
Yeah, f4 also quite typical. And bishop c4. Sorry, what is his idea? Yeah, he's just provoking b3. Maybe the c3 square could play a role if the knight can get there.
I think that's very slow, but again, he has to do something.
Knight a6, f5. Yeah, it's getting quite dangerous with f6 to come.
Oof. I would be sweating.
Queen e7 still covering.
Very good, stopping queen g5 from happening as well. That's. I want to then. I'm always ready to sacrifice something. Knight e6, you know, like this rook on c8 is not protected, so I really want to make some tricks. f6 now, a winning threat.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah.
What can he do against bishop d3? Yeah, still that the bishop could drop back to g6, but
very nice.
Even here f6, yeah, and it's played by DANIIL. DUBOV, queen a7, queen g5. Are you gonna play bishop g6? Yeah, he prepares it with h4 so that now after bishop g6 there can be h5 always, but Hans is fighting, yeah?
He is.
This is always what happens.
Very good defense so far by Hans. Amazing. Yeah. I'm impressed, actually.
Still, it's probably lost because g5 is coming.
It's also lost because there's no counterplay on the c file. At least if there was something, you know, but somehow...
King h7, another great move. Stepping out of the g file.
Wow. How can I continue? Do I go g5 with white now? No, maybe that's too much.
g5.
Yeah, first asking the bishop to move.
But is the bishop getting trapped now somewhere? If I go rook c1?
But bishop a2?
And then rook a1?
Bishop b3.
Yeah, there's going to be counterplay, yeah?
Queen d4, it's coming.
He goes for a similar plan. Bishop d3 played, queen e3. Once again, repeating moves.
That was very close to losing on time. I think Hans panicked a bit. King h2, and now we can think about how to trap the bishop. I don't see it, and DANIIL doesn't see it either. Maybe what's wrong with queen d2? Bishop e4. Okay.
Yeah. Now rook c1 is played. Now king is on h2. But there's a check, queen d3, now rook a1.
What? Why didn't he?
Bishop b3.
Why didn't he go for queen d2 immediately?
I don't
and
know.
then
He's giving up
check?
so many pawns. I think
He's messing up his
yeah,
advantage.
this can go wrong. King g3, trying to get rook h1. Queen
Playing
f8,
with
protecting
seconds.
everything.
I think he's very upset with himself right now.
I think Hans is gonna take this one home.
I
Queen a5.
think DANIIL is just so upset with himself right now.
But ooh, bishop c2.
Hanging the rook on g6, taking it. Does Hans have something? Playing queen d2, maybe
2 seconds.
Ooh,
1 second.
I'm so nervous. But queen d2
Wow.
is that?
Queen f8 still.
Okay, the only chance, but this
wow.
seems to be...
Queen f7. Is there a perpetual? Is he going for it?
Seems that there is.
Pawn on b2 is about to promote. I think DANIIL needs to go for it.
Okay, wow.
What happened here?
Okay, so let's check what was the evaluation of this position. I was so sure DANIIL will take this game. These attacks seem brilliant, but Hans, wow, I'm so impressed with his defense.
Yeah,
Brutal.
the defense was absolutely out of this world.
Wow. And by the way, score now 8.5 against 8.5, which means the winner of this game wins the match.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I have no idea what happens in case they draw. This was not in the cards for today, but probably they play another tiebreak for the win.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that, since I'm not sure what happens if there's a tie, but
I think they have to play on. I think, after this match, if the score will be 9-9, the audience would be disappointed. So yeah. I think both of them would want to play on and see who's going to be the winner. But last game, maybe this is the last game. Hans has white pieces doing amazingly so far. Oh, Sicilian. Are we going to see the dragon?
Are we going to see a dragon? Mm-hmm. And we are.
Yeah, okay. So...
And I have a feeling that he might go for his h5 line. Yeah, he goes for it.
It's his pet line, right? It's one of his favorites.
And the cool idea is that whenever queen d2 comes, black is usually intending to take on d4, and after bishop takes d4, there's bishop h6. This is always
bishop h6.
The idea. So that's why he wants to keep the bishop on f8.
That's why also Hans going for knight c6, and probably now, I was going to say queen d2, but I guess bishop c4 does the job.
Yeah, but it looks like pretty comfortable opening outcome for
Black.
DANIIL.
Yeah. I would agree. It's something I'm not so familiar with, but so far so good for both, maybe. Yeah, short castle for both.
Castle, long castle, and a5, very typical. Gaining space. Mm-hmm. At some moment a4 could be in the mix as well.
Exactly. Something to be afraid of or look for as black, maybe.
It looks quite balanced so far, I would say.
Exactly, yes. I have it's so far very strategical. I think this game might be very strategical. I mean, castles are on same side, so let's see.
And c5, quite a committal decision, weakening the d5 square, but also threatening c4.
c4 is a big threat, especially because b2 could be hanging. Even if I decide to play something like queen e2, I would still go c4 with black.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Because rook b2 can be a big threat, of course, in the future. Yeah, question for Hans. How is he gonna handle it? How are you gonna handle it? Are you gonna go move the knight? Are you gonna go e5?
Yeah, I'm always thinking about this move e5 because the bishop on d7 might be hanging in some lines, but here I just don't see it. What's the follow-up?
Well, okay, let's say e5, d takes d5, knight d5.
Mm-hmm, knight takes d5.
Queen d5.
Oh, okay. Protecting against c4 and also hitting the bishop on d7 and the pawn on c5.
C5 pawn, exactly. Not sure if it works because maybe bishop c6, queen c5, a4 looks dangerous, but probably doesn't work because bishop takes a4.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I guess this is something they're both calculating. Hans down to almost 1 minute while Daniel is still on almost 3 minutes. This is dramatic.
And he goes for e5, so I think we're about to see that.
Very nice. Very nice calculation by us. Now.
And bishop c6 also on the board.
Okay, I didn't expect that. Maybe I was thinking about bishop e6 at the end, but rook c8, threatening a4.
Now a4 is a threat now.
Yes, threatening a4. Very nice move. I would maybe go a4 myself.
Yeah,
okay.
It was played.
What's the pawn situation? It's still equal, right?
Yeah, still equal pawns, but better pawn structure for white in an endgame that could definitely play a role. But at the moment, white's king on g1 could also be a bit weak sometimes, especially if black pushes e4 and opens up the diagonal for the bishop. E6, quite a nice move, just shielding the f7 square, which is often
attacked.
Weak. Yeah.
So, but bishop d2, I feel like Hans has been doing great so far.
And e4 is on the board.
Typical DUBOV move, just creating some chances.
Yeah, and I love how he makes those moves so fast, just trusting his intuition.
That's very important in blitz games. Yeah, I feel like both of these players have very developed intuition. So, but yeah, Daniel it just comes very natural to him, doesn't think too much. But he's thinking now.
Now he is, yeah.
He's thinking now, because I would also be thinking about how to activate this bishop on g7. Especially because a5 is hanging. This looks scary.
I would love to get queen g3 followed by bishop e5 on the board. But I don't think it's fast enough. So he captures on b2.
Not yet. Maybe he's waiting for bishop takes a5 and then going for something like this.
He goes to b7 instead. So now white is a pawn up, but due to the weak pawn on e4 and also some of white's pieces are a bit awkwardly placed, black can very well have enough compensation here.
I mean, yeah, but what if I just go queen e3? How are you going for it?
That's a great question, yeah. Yeah, rook a8, maybe going after the pawn on a4.
Okay, fair. Fair. So I guess I'm losing my a4 pawn.
Can you take it? That's the question.
Why not?
He goes for it. Thought there could be some loose pieces somewhere.
Oh, by the way, only 12 seconds for Hans.
Yeah, that's...
DUBOV just with so much more time right now. Wow.
Now rook b1, so the bishop probably has to retreat, I would guess, maybe to g7.
g7, c3
he goes to c3, yeah, hitting the rook. So now I think that Daniil is in the driver's seat because of the better pawn structure.
Oh, but this still looks slightly scary for me. This rook on b1 can be very aggressive, threatening some bishop e6. Yeah, okay, queen c6, a very smart move. Yeah, exchanging this bishop now is also smart from white, but like you said, black has better pawn structure right now. I wonder, what does evaluation say? It's around 0-0. Black is slightly better. Black is slightly better.
Yeah, because I can see some heavy pieces entering the second rank.
Yeah, there could be checkmate.
A bit scary. Queen b6 though. Especially with the time situation. It's quite uncomfortable for Hans to hold this. Maybe, is there rook a2 here?
Rook a2, wow.
Yeah, he goes for it.
Beautiful tactics. And Hans seeing it and playing rook d2 immediately. Very nice.
Still covering everything. And I think black now has to exchange queens, which is not really...
Yeah, something that he wanted to do. But I guess I don't see anything else.
Yeah, he's going for the rook endgame, but keeping both rooks on the board.
Keeping the chances.
Yeah. And 6 seconds for Hans Niemann. Rook d2.
Okay, now it's all about the activity. who's gonna be more active?
Still, I would probably pick black here because the king is coming to e5. e4 is weak.
I agree, especially because e4, yeah, it can be a huge weakness, and this rook now coming to a3 or a2, not so simple.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say we've seen Hans winning much worse positions than this one.
True, yes, absolutely. And also this king is coming to c4, maybe
Yeah.
c5. Look, DUBOV shaking his head. He was up for almost 2 minutes and now he's down to 18 seconds in this endgame. He's not happy for sure. Oh, wow.
Rook c7.
I was expecting rook b6, but rook c7
Yeah,
against
me too.
activating something. I would be scared now. This pawn on b5 can become a queen very fast.
Yeah. No, e4 is dropping, but
Okay.
the b pawn is going to be so fast. Rook b7 still covering everything.
Oh.
Oh,
no!
rook e3.
Oh no, Hans just
No.
blundering rook e3. Did you see his reaction? That was a shock. Oh,
And it
what are
looks
they
like
talking?
there's
They're just
some
talking.
disagreements.
Probably DANIIL touched the king or something. I don't know. I don't know. They were both very upset.
Should be a technical conversion now.
Yeah, I think
two pawns
DANIIL
up
will manage, especially time, Hans, time. Okay, oof.
Still was just in time to make the move.
That's so stressful. Oh.
g5.
Are we gonna see the history repeat itself? The winner of this game wins the match. Is DANIIL going to convert? Seems that it's going to happen.
Yeah,
wow.
Still the king is... Yeah, this is not so simple.
No? Really?
Well, king f5 is coming.
Okay, I will play that.
Should be a win, but now white has this kind of blockade.
That's true. This rook is coming around somehow, but yeah, and if I decide to go into pawn endgame,
Yeah, now
what
there's a
is
check.
this? Okay, cannot
Pawn
go
endgames
because...
are always lost.
Yeah, because of the e-pawn, I
Mhm.
can never take on f6.
But how are you gonna make progress here? I think this is not so simple.
You will have to give the f6 pawn at some point.
Or he tries to maneuver like this and try to take control of the c file, but still no, maybe king d6 back.
Like this, okay.
But where is he going now?
3
3
seconds.
2 seconds.
Okay, struggling with time slightly, but
And
wow, is this a draw?
Objectively, it could very well give white good drawing chances.
Yeah, it is 0-0 by engine. That's crazy. Hans calling an arbiter to count the moves. There's 50 move rule, of course, if there's no exchanges or pawn moves. And I think this is just a draw. Wow.
That's crazy. Is DUBOV gonna try something here? I mean, as you said, you can try to give up the pawn on f6, but he's also low on time now.
I'm just shocked by the drama happening.
So he gives up the
Gives
pawn.
up the pawn finally.
But this can also go wrong. I don't know, king.
I'm just taking them. What?
King e5. Well, the e4 pawn is quite fast, but
my 2 pawns might be fast.
Yeah, this can also go wrong, yeah.
I would have went g4 myself, but maybe smarter to play like this by Hans.
Yeah, h4 now, there's rook c5, so he goes king f6 first. And
this can go wrong for anybody. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous right now.
If e2, then it's gonna sacrifice the rook probably.
So they're just both very upset right now because arbiter is not claiming a 3-time repetition. I don't know who is claiming it. Both just...
So I do think we have a draw here.
Yeah, this was a draw. I don't know who's more upset. Seems like DUBOV is... Wait, but maybe they're discussing the tie breaks right now?
I I would guess so, yeah.
Oh my, this is yeah, I guess so. I mean, they didn't handshake, so I have no clue what if the game is actually over, but
Yeah.
probably yes, yeah. Oh my, okay. Um, okay, so let's see. Is there gonna be a tie break? Maybe they are deciding right now if they want to continue playing.
Yeah, especially judging from Dubov's facial expressions, he did not look so thrilled to
He
continue playing.
looked so upset. I don't know, maybe because he didn't convert this game or just in general because of the match. But I think it's fair that we would have a winner. What do you think?
Definitely, it would be such a shame after such a hard, thought out match to not have a winner. I mean, how many draws did we actually have? It was not many, right?
Just one.
Just one draw.
We just had one draw. So the score is 9.5 against 9.5. Okay, this is now a second draw if we count that. So the score is 9 versus 9. Sorry, my mistake. Out of 18 games. So this was the second draw of the match, which shows the bloodbath that happened in Moscow in the last 2 days.
Yeah, just 2 draws in 18 games. That's unbelievable.
Probably everybody's wondering what's happening now. It was not expected. Nobody expected it to be 9-9. So maybe even the players don't know what's happening. But don't worry, we will stay till the end to see this through. In worst case, we have 2 players sharing the first place of the match.
Well, there has been some past with that in the last year.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about it.
In the World Championship match, yeah, that was quite controversial. Like,
exactly. I was, yeah.
Yeah, I would be curious, like, what was your first reaction when you saw that Magnus is sharing the title with Jan?
Well, I just wanted to mention that this is where the drama between Hans and DANIIL actually started, because DUBOV didn't show up to their match because he fell asleep in his hotel room. Of course, everything under question marks. And then the second drama was, of course, sharing the first place of the World Championship. Of course, I was upset, but not as much because I understand, of course, that this World Championship matches are very hard, or just they played one-on-one, but I think they didn't play enough games to say, okay, let's share the title. That's just my opinion. If they played more games, I'm absolutely fine with it. And now we're waiting. I would actually just love to mention the Endgame platform again. Is the platform of the future, maybe, Felix. I would just like to invite everybody that's watching to join ENDGAME.AI, join the waitlist, and be part of this chess revolution on a new chess platform.
Yeah, and I don't think it's that complicated to sign up. As far as we are informed, you'll just get a verification code by SMS or email. That's up to you. And yeah, not so easy to set everything up. And as you mentioned, it might be the platform of the future.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about it. What do you think about it so far while we're using it? We're basically the first ones using it.
Yeah, actually, we should feel kind of honored here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as far as I can see, there is a kind of this UI where you can watch the match, of course, between Hans Niemann and DANIIL DUBOV. And there's the option to analyze the games with the live engine there. I think, as far as I know, they are kind of still working on the rest and yeah, keeping everyone in the dark and keeping everyone excitedly waiting for what's going to come next. But I'm really curious how it's going to turn out and what Hans exactly, what is he gonna drop here, because
yeah, like you said, he's always coming up with something new, helping the chess world to become a better place for everybody, to be inclusive for everybody. And I'm so glad that he's doing it not for himself, but for the chess community.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always something which yeah, is great to see. And well, yes, there's also always a lot of drama to see and a lot of excitement.
Yes, so you guys, that everybody that's in the chat, thank you, of course, for following. We have a lot of viewers following this match. I mean, this match is extremely exciting. So you guys, please give us some feedback. How do you like it? What would you like to change, to improve, or is it perfect? It's very good so far. It dropped yesterday. So I think for a first day and second day, so far perfect, right?
Yeah. I couldn't wish for anything more. We also see that in the chat there's so many people. I am also having a look at the chat, as is Laura. So if you guys have any questions or things you would like to add, definitely let us know. I could see that you guys were asking about the tiebreaks. As far as we are informed, they were still discussing the details, but now we can already see the players sitting down at the board. So maybe there has been
there's going to be a tiebreak for sure. So I just don't exactly know the format yet. There was a break where they were discussing the format, but we see that Hans is now taking the black pieces. I think they might play 2 blitz games. What do you think is going to be the tiebreak format?
Yeah, 2 blitz games is usually how it is, but the question is always if those blitz games end in 1 versus 1, then how it's going to continue from there on. Like what they had in the
never ends.
that's what they had in the World Championship match, and we all know how it ended. So I was always a fan of this sort of a sudden death match. So just the first one that has a decisive victory wins the match, but of course then the side who has the white pieces is sort of in an advantage.
Exactly, and on the ENDGAME.AI, I see that there's game 19, so they started obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't see game 20, so maybe they just decide till first winner.
That could very well be. We're still waiting for a confirmation.
Excellent.
And we do have yet another completely new opening on the board. Slav defense with G3.
Yeah, so this is what we saw, what we already saw, except
it's a little bit different, I would say.
Yeah, this is actually slightly different. It deviated with this bishop f5. I'm not sure if this was played by Hans the last time, but
yeah, DUBOV mixing it up. At the start of the match, he was mostly going for the exchange Slav, but now he went for the system with 4G3.
Yes, and now the H file is open, but nothing grave. This is very typical structure for the Slav in general.
Yeah, people started to play this exact line more recently. Oh, wow, long castle. Because usually you never really take back on d5 with the knight. But it turns out the position sort of resembles some Grunfeld type of ideas with e5 or c5 breaking white center. But I'm not so sure about long castle. The king might be in some danger there. If queen a4 is coming maybe at some point.
I mean, both kings could be in danger, even though this f2 king can be opened, and f5 by Hans can be opened very, very quickly. And I don't see a quick attack by DANIIL yet. Like, I could go queen a4, but honestly, I'm not afraid of that move.
Oh, f5.
Yeah, like, what are you doing, with white pieces now?
That's difficult. Yeah, bishop d3. f5 is a nice idea, which I did not have on my radar. And he might be opening up the whole center with f4. Could be also one idea.
Or how else could I be opening?
Well, maybe taking on f4. I don't know how you take back there with the pawn or with the bishop. I was
thinking with the bishop, yeah.
Yeah, probably keeping the f-file closed is pretty smart. He goes bishop d6, setting up some pressure on g3, king g2. Very logical move. Yeah,
Hans just keeping the pressure in the center, doesn't want to close anything yet. But these two bishops, Felix, bishop pair can be very dangerous in the attacks like this.
Yeah, especially the bishop on d3, if it can go to a6 at some moment. For example, here, if king b8, there are ideas with bishop a6, also d takes e5, of course, when a7 would be hanging.
Yeah, absolutely. You do not want to go king b8.
D takes e4, f takes e4 now on the board. And how is Hans gonna continue his attack?
I have no idea. This actually looks now very scary for black pieces. Like, if I could protect my king somehow, even play a6, that would be fine. But a6, I will just play bishop takes a6. And I
Yeah.
think white is just winning there on the spot.
And
b6.
b6, yeah, weakening the a6 square, but it's probably the only way not to lose the a7 pawn.
Yeah, but that's so sad. If you have to play this, that means that black is in danger. Would you say so?
Yeah, probably, but now that I think about it still, how does white break through now? What if I go queen b7? Is the endgame so bad?
No, probably not so bad.
Because
Honestly.
king b8, then maybe there are some sacrifices on
Yeah.
b6. So
Do not want that.
b7 on the board.
Yes, so I wonder if Daniel will go for the endgame or maybe play something like
Yeah,
a4.
keeping the queens on the board as it seems, so maybe not.
Wait, he hasn't decided what is he worried about? I'm not sure. Knight g4 maybe, because then queen e6, queen d7 is fine.
Yeah, you're right. He goes to a4.
Okay.
King b8, and yeah. As long as a4, a5 is not coming, I don't see how white is going to break through on the queen side.
Yeah, I love that DUBOV is not going into an endgame yet. He likes these positions with queens on the board.
But queen c2 back, I mean, he is protecting e4.
He
and
is.
maybe preparing a4, a5.
Oh, I don't know if I like rook e8. I
Yeah.
love the rook on h file, especially now white's idea could be so simple just to go a4, a5.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like Hans does not have a clear plan here. Bishop c7, maybe increasing the pressure on d4, but what if I go a4 now? And
I
he
don't
does
know.
it.
Engine loves a4. It's the best move. It's +1.
And yeah, rook h8 back, yeah.
Yeah, that was something really you don't want to do. Queen c8 you could have played before, yeah, going rook e8. So I am slightly upset with Hans for moving this rook.
He lost a lot of time here, but still knight g4 does give him some counterplay.
Exactly, it's still okay.
And he even takes with the bishop. That's a beautiful decision.
Is it a beautiful decision?
Unless I'm blundering something, but if I'm in time to take on e3 with the knight, then
Okay, you're right. Yeah,
we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, I'm just so afraid of some sacrifices with rook b6, maybe going c4 now. You know, can I just go c4? Oh, h4.
Goes
Okay.
h4. I mean, h2 was also hanging, so yeah, no, g3
correct.
is also soft. I think this is going into Hans's direction. Also, look at the time difference.
Okay, that's didn't expect such a dramatic ending for sure.
Me neither. And now he gets to capture the bishop on e3 and g5, opening up the king side.
And he's just attacking himself. White doesn't have much anymore at all.
Yeah, the center is also collapsing at any moment.
Absolutely. Like, what is happening?
Oh, c4, yeah.
Finally, some counterplay, but
hg3 threatening rook h2. Rook
I
g3.
think, yeah. I think that black could even decide to allow c5, like go rook d4 or something, and not care about this bishop. But I don't think Hans would go for something like that.
Well, worst case, you have to go c5, but you don't really want to shut out this bishop on b6.
Yeah, well, it's probably good actually, even to play something like this.
He goes for it. Queen e7, allowing c5.
He just doesn't care, wants to go queen h4. c5 will be followed by queen h4. I hope that he calculated the win, because I'm not so sure it's happening so fast.
Me neither, but look at DANIIL's clock. Just a few seconds, c5.
Oh, this is
queen
crazy.
h4.
Rook f3? What?
f3, guarding the f-file, but that doesn't look so healthy.
Wrong. Yeah. Can I go queen g4? You have to go queen rook g3, right?
Yeah, that would be a repetition, and we might see the match continuing there.
Okay,
goes for it, rook f8. Now, big threat of... Isn't there queen h2 here?
Yeah.
And f3 is falling.
Yeah.
It's just winning, right?
This is just winning, exactly. Like, I can even take queen c2.
Anything. Rook h2, rook f2, queen e3.
Oh, why didn't he go rook h2? That was okay.
And DUBOV resigns.
Good enough.
It looks like we have. Do we have a winner? That's still what we need to figure out.
Yeah, this is what we're gonna figure out right now. Arbiter is there. Is he gonna set the clock? Are the players
Yeah, he's
moving?
resetting the clock. So I think we have another game. At least another game.
Yeah, so his DUBOV is sitting down. I guess he wants to continue the match. But he has to win now with black pieces to come back. Okay, so another game. We love that. We love a chess spectacle that never ends. This is what we're here for. This match has been so amazing so far.
Yeah.
But I think DUBOV is very upset with himself. He was leading the match for 2 points and then lost on time in quite a few games, messed up some winning positions, and now he's almost losing the match, Felix.
Yeah, it's such a bad turn of events for him. Also, the last game they were supposed to play, he had a probably winning rook endgame. He was so confident looking that he was about to win the game, but then HANS miraculously saved it. And DUBOV has to go for a win here, going for the Sicilian defense.
Yeah, has to, and yeah, slightly different than before. Of course, HANS only needs a draw to win the match, and with white pieces, this should be easy. However, in this match, we only saw 2 draws in total, and it might be very hard to draw. So we will see what HANS wants to do in this position.
Yeah. So a very modern line in the Sicilian Moscow. I think usually white is doing pretty well here with some early f4 advances.
Let's see if HANS will go for it. He can, but he doesn't need to because...
He goes for it, f4.
But okay, it's his style, so why not?
Knight g6.
Yeah, I mean, what do we do? What do we do with white now? What's the typical idea? Do we go bishop e3, rook d1? How are we playing?
Bishop e3 would allow bishop b7 and then e4 is hanging. He goes back knight f3. What is the idea behind that? If black goes bishop b7 and it's on the board, bishop c2, regrouping the bishop to d3, I would assume. Yeah.
Okay, very nice.
Arguing that the bishop on b3 is a little bit passive, and here from d3 it is protecting e4.
That's a very good point. Also, yeah, not allowing b5 in the near future. That's something you don't want to allow in this type of structure. Oh, d5
but he goes for d5, which I thought it was not working so well because of Hans's
he
move.
has to win, so I guess it's time for DUBOV to pull out all his weapons, all his cards. Sacrifices will be happening, Felix.
Yeah, he goes for knight e4. So after simplification, if HANS takes everything on e4, then c4 would be hanging. But maybe that brings HANS one step closer to winning the match, because a lot of pieces would disappear from the board.
I really wonder what DUBOV has in mind right now.
He's going for the endgame.
Is he counting on winning the endgame in this position? That's very tough.
Well, those endgames can go wrong very easily for white as well, because the white center looks nice, but often we see the center being kind of overextended, and those pawns which are too far advanced then often becoming loose. But yeah, here.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't be so worried with white pieces.
So you would take on c4 here?
Don't ask me hard questions. Yeah, no, I would take on c4, and probably what do I have to go, g3?
Yeah, g3 he goes, and here I thought the rook can enter to c2.
Okay, yeah, you can go rook c2. That's fine with me. I wonder. I cannot go knight d4 because of bishop c5.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I have to start with.
He goes rook b1, but.
Oof, that's passive, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to say I would want to go something like king f1, but even after rook c8, black is still fine.
Bishop b4. Oh, that's a very nice move, because he wants him to play rook d1 and only then to go bishop c5 check, because then white cannot go bishop e3 anymore.
Beautiful. And then
therefore rook e4, but is there bishop c5 now? And if bishop e3, rook e2? You can still take on c5 and then f8 is hanging.
Oh, f8 is hanging. Okay, that's very nice. I don't like, I mean, I would love black pieces if this knight was not on g6. If it would be anywhere else, I would take black. But okay, he's going for it. So let's see if bishop e3 will be played. Yeah.
It's on the board. Still the rook on the second rank. I mean, DUBOV does have some chances here, but not going to be easy.
But again, this knight on g6 is currently so out of the game that even these rooks that you have are not not something.
No, he lost control of the second rank as well.
Yeah. But okay, he's bringing his knight to some good square now. d5, f5, we'll see.
Activates the rook to d3. Still, he has the control of both the d and c file, so that's a benefit.
Could I decide to go for something like rook d2, or would that be too much?
That then, after taking the other rook, can enter to c2, but I guess you can kick that rook out.
I thought I can go king e2 or king e3.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. And king d3 is just saying bye-bye. a3 first, of course, to stop knight b4. Yeah, this looks to be very clean draw for Hans so far. I mean, this is a blitz game, anything can happen.
He goes for h6, for king f8. I was thinking that h6 followed by g5 could be one idea to break the pawn chain. Yeah, now it looks like Hans is really getting close to the match victory.
Yeah, this is extremely close. Hans can be very happy. He will get his revenge on DUBOV after losing his last match, of course. With 1 minute on the clock, Felix, I can safely say that there will be no surprises.
Yeah, I agree.
Except if you want to bet against me, Felix.
Not this time. I learned from my mistakes.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, DUBOV has to try. He will, like you said, go maybe h6, g5, f6, h5. That's good enough. We guess going h4 could be a plan. But
yeah, just gaining space, but still it's not so clear. Even if h4 is on the board, what it's going to do?
Nothing. It does nothing. And finally, I am able to move my rook to a better square than b1. Let's see what DUBOV can do. I'm really curious what he will try to, what magic he will try to make.
Maybe go to the h file with the rook, yeah? Try to infiltrate there.
Yeah. Well, okay, Hans now doubting his ideas, going G1
he's
again.
hesitating a little bit.
Okay.
Rook h8 on the board. Rook c1.
This is his plan. Fair. Very fair, very logical. And do you think rook h2 is going to happen? Oh, rook h3.
h3, threatening knight takes f4 with check.
Some tricks.
Yeah, the king is entering.
Yeah, just white's king is, because of this pawn structure, is just much more active.
Yeah, and also now after rook c6, rook takes a6 is there, and then the rook is entering on the 7th rank.
And then knight d6, and who's going to be losing the game? Probably.
Yeah.
Tough position for DANIIL. Very, very tough.
Yeah, I think Hans got this now. Also look at the time, DANIIL.
Yeah,
Before.
absolutely.
So much material disappearing, and king d8.
Oh, are we seeing some checkmate ideas? Takes. Okay, I think DUBOV will go for a draw. Okay, he can go for a draw, so he will try something, but I just don't see what.
Rook e3, yeah.
Knight d6 though.
Yeah, it's gonna take on g3. I mean, so many pawns are disappearing.
Okay, I think Hans will have a repetition very soon. Maybe even rook a8 is a draw.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Rook a8 and then just go back and forth.
Yeah.
And is Daniel gonna try something? Yeah, King D8. He has to, but F5.
Oh, and Hans playing for the win.
And after
draw, no.
after DUBOV takes, then E6 is gonna be deadly.
Yeah, he doesn't even consider any repetition.
And what can he do here? Move the knight, maybe knight F4.
Very, very nice game. 7 seconds also for DUBOV. I think it's over, Felix.
Yeah,
I think we have a new winner.
Hans got this, I'm pretty sure as well. Knight C7, F6. There's no way for Hans to lose this. Probably he's even winning here.
Yeah, this is most likely winning, but
yeah, Rook C7 on the board.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And draw.
But in the end, a draw.
At the end, a draw. DUBOV happy not to lose this game, but
what a finale to this match. Could not be any better, I think. And it looks like we have a new winner, unless we are not informed of any new tiebreak regulations.
Yeah, I think we have a new winner. I think it's 99% sure to say that we do, but we will see in a few seconds if they're changing seats, but I don't think so.
Yeah, the arbiter's not resetting the clock, so that's usually a good sign.
Okay, I guess the match is over, but wow, what an exciting match, Felix, yesterday and today, and I didn't expect this turn of events at the end. Just beautiful finish by Hans. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, how it was going yesterday with Daniil winning 3 games in a row in the end of the day. And also today, Hans had sort of a bumpy start, but then he just came back and won game after game. And
exactly.
In the end, really deserved win. And kudos to both players for giving us a great fight and a really enjoyable event to watch and also to commentate for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I love commentating Blitz games. With Felix, with you, it's also very enjoyable. I learned so much. You give amazing insight. And guys, stay for the closing ceremony as well, because the winner of the match actually is getting a watch from Raketa Watch Factory, and that David Henderson Stewart is a managing director of the Watch Factory and is presenting this award. And yes, this is actually not any watch, you know, and here you go. Hans will open it right now.
He looks very excited, actually.
Yeah, Hans.
Yeah, I've never seen him so happy. Like even after winning a game, like usually you never see it. But if it's a Raketa watch, then I mean, this is actually, he will show it. Oh, he's getting 3 watches. 3 watches.
Wow, this is amazing. He must be so happy. And this is actually not any Raketa watch. It's in collaboration with the Russian Museum in St. Petersburg, you know?
Yeah.
So these are not any basic watches produced just in the factory, but a very, very special gift. Thank you so much, Raketa Watch Factory, for presenting a winner with something very, very memorable. Yeah, great finish to the event. We see the handshake, and what a nice present also, like to have a watch, and such a prestigious one, such a nice one. It's a great way to great gift from the sponsor of this event. And we see Hans looking pretty satisfied, I would say, with the outcome of the match. Yes, exactly. Like Felix, if you got these watches as well, these are actually some watches that are home to Malevich's entire geometric circle. Did you know that? The black circle, the black cross, and the black square. I did not know that. So I guess maybe each of these watches is presenting a geometric cycle, actually, now that I think about it. Because there are 3 of them, and one is circle, one is square, one is maybe cross, you know? Again, that makes a lot of sense, huh? Very memorable. Like, would you be happy to be presented such an award after such a tough match? Absolutely, because it's also something you remember. Like, of course, if you get a monetary prize, of course, you're also happy to win money. But things like this, they stick with you. You can wear them even on your arm, yeah. Exactly. Like to have a watch, it's so classy. Chess is a very classy game, so an amazing gift for the winner. Probably DUBOV is now even more upset for not winning the match. But again, wow, what an exciting match. I would like to thank both players actually for giving us such a showdown. Even DUBOV at some point, he was leading the match for 2 points, could have taken the draw and played on.
Yeah.
Lost the game, and this led us to this moment. HANS, Niemann winning the rematch against DANIIL DUBOV.
Yeah, absolutely. So now both players managed to win one of those matches. I'm curious if we're going to see another match between those two. It's starting to become sort of a tradition already.
Yeah.
And it's a nice one, I have to say, because all of those matches, well, both of those matches have been so exciting to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think we're going to see maybe a match against somebody else? Maybe on ENDGAME.AI, who do you think HANS would challenge next? Or
I think he already announced that he has some new matches planned, but I think they're going to be, again, of course, over the board, but I'm sure that it's going to be streamed on ENDGAME.AI/watch as usual. But I don't think it's clear yet who he's going to play next. But I just saw that we might actually have HANS on the stream. It's not entirely sure yet. I'm sure he must be exhausted after this match.
Yeah,
but
very happy.
Maybe we're lucky enough to hear from him about his future plans.
I would love to ask him some questions. We will wait in case he will have some time for us.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for confirmation here.
But yeah, in the meantime, of course, we would love for you guys to check out ENDGAME.AI, give us some feedback, join the waitlist. It's limited to only 10,000 people so far, so it's very exclusive. You can, of course, watch the stream for free there. Everything is free. You just have to join the waitlist to chat, to comment, to be interactive. But who knows what's gonna happen in the future, what they have in store. What does HANS have in store?
You never know. You never know. Always many things which you don't expect and which are taking everyone by a shock.
Yeah, in the meantime, you guys can also analyze the game on the ENDGAME.AI. And Felix, while we wait, while we wait, do you want to maybe check the last game?
I'm actually going through that right now to see if there were any chances for any of the players, especially for DANIIL DUBOV. It looks like, actually did have some chances in that game after he pushed d5. It looks like he was better, in fact, there.
Okay,
but going knight e4 was the wrong continuation there. But very difficult to see what else. Computer says knight h5, but oof, it's not easy to spot at all.
Yeah. Do you want to share your screen to show the audience? Or maybe we will see how fast we can get HANS on the stream. I think he is already here.
Yeah, we can see HANS right here. And we can also hear him.
Yeah,
hello.
Yeah, but we cannot see him on the stream yet, so...
Not yet, yeah. We can hear you, HANS, but the viewers cannot see you yet.
Okay.
I think they're just working on it.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Congratulations, HANS. Okay, wait.
Thank you.
We can see you now. We can only see you. It's perfect.
Fantastic. Congrats, HANS. How are you feeling?
Great.
Yeah, how do you feel after such a match?
Amazing, but
sorry.
I really, I don't know what it is with the black pieces, like why I can't play. It's maybe it was a psychological issue, but I just could not get a normal position with the black pieces. Like I just felt like I blunder in the opening, something would go wrong. He just have it easy. Like his preparation with white he's such I think I'm just going to copy his repertoire from now on. But at least with white, the only opening which I can play, the Italian, sort of kept me alive. So it was, I guess, just a back and forth that once either of us got our position, we were just dominant. But Yeah, I've never been so. This is like top 5 most intense like games I've played in my life.
Wow.
But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, these black pieces, we were so confused, especially the first day. Yesterday, only one win with black pieces. Both of you just so strong with your white repertoire. But today it was slightly different, yeah? Some changes in the openings.
Yeah, I tried Slav once yesterday, and then I
Yeah.
just checked it today. He played some weird line against Slav, but it's funny that Slav was actually sort of my childhood opening, maybe around 23, 2400. I played it a lot. And at some point I realized, what am I doing? Like, why don't I, like, even this critical game that I won, maybe, I don't know maybe I should start playing the Slav again, because the Catalan is just, it was mentally I've never been, this is how people must feel like when I play Italian, like when I fixed the Catalan, because I've never felt like so powerless in my life against this opening. But yeah, I guess a good lesson learned to sort
Yeah.
of work on that part of my repertoire. But I think the games were really interesting. A lot of scrambles, and DUBOV, he played really, really well.
Yeah, for sure. Also, in the end, we saw that you had maybe some minor disagreements. What exactly happened there?
Yeah, okay, so in one game that I won, like one piece wasn't fully upright when I hit the clock, and this he was upset. But when you have seconds, this happens in the heat of the
Yeah.
moment. And then in the last game, when he sort of made a good move, he's like slamming the clock excessively hard over and over again. Which no, and I said to him, like, "What are you doing?" I don't understand. It's for me in the last match. Like, there are multiple things that I found quite rude. Like, after the match ends, he said that the clown show is over. And for me, I thought it's important to establish a modicum of respect. When I won the match, I didn't like, because when during the end of the last match, he started screaming after he won. I'm like, with all the respect, that's
Wow.
not. I'm so. For me, I was frustrated that, like, why are you slamming the clock, and what
It's not
those
respectful as
things.
a chess
It's not
player.
respectful. So that's why I said something. But it's the main
Yeah.
point is that in the previous match, like, okay, some of the clips of things he said are in Russian, so maybe people didn't like pay attention. But he said some like very, very weird things, like in Russian interviews. Like, I don't even want to repeat them, but like for example, as I was leaving, he said, like, I'm going somewhere. Like, it was like quite weird. So I don't know. For me, it began not showing up in Road Rapid Blitz, which is just insane. And I guess he paid the price for it because he didn't make it to the top 8. And then I took the polygraph, which, okay, it's a bit weird because people say I didn't do the polygraph, then it proves something, but then when I do it, it proves nothing. So I feel like I'm not really going to engage in things where I defend myself. Like, I don't feel like I have to defend myself, but he's one of the best blitz players in the world. He's a former world rapid champion. So for me, I only wanted to play the match because he's a good player, and I want to gain experience. So for me, it was a successful match. And certainly, like, I'll be repeating the Catalan for 10 hours a day, like, until my next tournament.
Speaking about your next tournaments, do you already have some plans? What's coming next? We don't want to keep you any longer, but maybe if you could tell the
I guess
viewers.
I'll announce it now. So of course we have a match. I'm playing a match against Anish Giri, and that match will be played on Endgame. It will not be played on any other stupid chess platform. It'll be played. So as some of you, the sort of the sponsors of the organizer Master Raketa, which is an amazing watch company, which you guys saw here, and
Yes.
they had this amazing chessing watch, and then of course ENDGAME.AI, and of course, we're going to have many tournaments on the platform. We're going to start with me playing matches. So me and Anish will play a match on the platform. Then I'll continue to play matches against others. We're going to host tournaments. And eventually, we're going to launch an actual full play zone. So the play zone works, like, it's ready, but we want to have some tournaments, test things out. So if anyone like wants to watch that, it'll obviously be on ENDGAME.AI. And that's where I will play all my matches from now on. And I'm going to play against a lot of top players. So that's June 4th. it'll be an 18-game match, 3+2 online over one day. And then I expect to play hopefully 10 matches in June. I want to be very active.
Perfect. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing your insights. We love the platform. Like, kudos to you and your team for making such an inclusive platform, to making something new, and you contributing to the chess world finally in a new way.
Yes,
because like you said,
we're gonna have many tournaments.
Same thing. Yeah,
and we're gonna have women's tournaments as well. Of course,
okay.
because yes, we're gonna have junior tournaments, women's tournaments. We're gonna have. I think that the prize money that we'll have on the platform will be more than both of the other platforms combined per month. So I expect a lot, very big tournaments and big matches. Of course, I want to organize in-person matches like this as well, but online, of course, on the platform. So yes, okay. Well, thank you guys. I'm so tired. I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm gonna go sing some karaoke and relax.
Okay, love that plan for you.
Yeah. Maybe someone will sneak in a celebratory video of my karaoke singing.
Please do accidentally send us or put something on Instagram. Would you be so kind maybe to just show us the platform for a minute if you're already here, maybe analyze your favorite game, or are you too tired?
I think I don't know if I can like get on it on this computer.
Okay.
But I would say that my favorite, let me open it on my phone and then you guys can open it. Let me tell you my favorite game. 1 second.
Okay,
you
perfect.
Guys can,
I can share the screen. I can try sharing the screen.
Let me tell you my favorites. Because the thing is that for the platform, most of the features we're going to sort of release on a waitlist basis because we don't want to overload the servers and we want to make sure everything's working properly. So, okay, let me see. Okay, round. What was your guys' favorite? Let me see. There were so many. It was a fascinating, absolutely.
Oh my!
Like this last, the number 18 that I saved with this down 2 pawns. It was. I could feel. I could feel the Russian endgame spirit in my blood after holding that position. Let me find the game.
Yeah.
But no, I think like this is. I'm very
insane, yeah.
For me, I also the comeback, like I was down, I was down so many points, and I was down, I think 3 with 5 games to go. It was really quite.
It was a bad start of the day today.
Yeah, the first game I should have won. Yeah, that first game that I didn't win was
that
terrible.
was heartbreaking, like with the queen, but it can happen anytime in the book.
Okay, I liked 14 was a nice swindle when I sacrificed. The thing is that I kept getting these great opening positions. I want to choose the game I won with black because anyway. Okay, no, this is good. Yeah, number 15 was my favorite.
That was actually my favorite as well.
Yeah, yeah. Number 15, I really liked this game. Like this was just a smooth, Karpovian game. Yeah, like when I played bishop b5, c4. This was sort of a light square. I think there was this moment on move 25.
Okay.
Where b5, I was very happy with this move. And then
we saw that one as well. Just bringing the queen to b7, that was really beautiful.
And then when I got the knights together, and also I had no time. It was not easy to convert. And then when I sacked the piece, I think number 15, like I sacked the piece, but still there was it was unclear.
Okay, I'm just trying to share my screen. I hope the audience can see that. Sorry, yeah. So move queen d3. Sorry, Hans.
Yeah, b5 here. I was really happy. Like this was very resourceful. And then queen to b7. Blitz is not really always about the most objective evaluation. It's just playing easy moves, simple moves, and DUBOV is very good at getting these opening positions where everything flows. So from here, I finally felt like with black, I have a good position.
Yeah.
It was like
smooth.
It's like you're on a deserted island and you see a boat coming to save you. Like I didn't realize that I could. And then again, it was not an easy position to convert. Like he has the pass c pawn.
Yeah.
But then at some point, his bishop on e1, king on f1. Like at the end, he was just in zugzwang, and
that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Just like
because here it's like it's such a tough position to convert. And then Yeah, and then now it's just Zugzwang. Like I just run my king up and I
Yeah,
win. So
like
he doesn't have a single
somehow
move.
he has nothing.
So
Yeah, this is
yeah,
beautiful.
there's no moves. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this was like this in the scrambles today. I was flipping games. I was flipping a lot. Because in the first match, I guess here's I was there's a lot of games that I would lose without a fight. That was the issue. That there were some games that my level was very, very low. But when I was playing well, I was really, really playing well. And, in scrambles, I was flipping wins to losses.
Yeah.
So I would say that, yeah, that was the 15, just a win with black is just a cause for celebration.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, it finally happened, the win with black. Yeah, no, it was wow, what a match. Like I loved following it. Like the previous one was dramatic, but this one, like, kudos to you guys for, like, Dubo at some point was leading for 2 or 3 points, could have made a draw.
Yeah, no, 3 points. 3 points at yes, there was one. There was at one point with 5 games to go where he had this repetition, and where he was going rook c8, rook back and forth, and rook was on b6. He could have
Yeah.
repeated, and then in this moment, like when I found c5, d4, queen f5, I was
I think
my
it was
hope.
this game.
Yeah, there was that was.
This one, yeah.
That I showed some very good nerves to maintain.
Just, yeah, like this, and queen f5, beautiful.
No, but yeah, c5. No, this motif was c5, d4. It's not that uncommon, but yeah, that I really was happy with.
Yeah. Beautiful.
But no, people, it doesn't. No one remembers that I lost all these black games. They only remember that I won. So of course, objectively, it's good that I'm so dominant with white, because most, I guess, players at our level, because I would say DANIIL is a top 5 blitz player in the world. I don't know what his rating is. I think he's gonna be number 4 in the world. And he always does very well. So it's an accomplishment to win.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Congratulations
joining us and
against
sharing.
Hans.
I think like this is I have 3 of them, but I would give one of them to you, but I'm keeping them all for myself.
Oh,
No, I was joking that you guys are commentators, but this is so nice.
yeah,
This is so nice. I think we need to
it's
get
amazing.
we need to get tournaments to allow approved watches. I think it'd be a great sponsor for chess.
Exactly, it's such an elegant gift, and these watches are very special, from the watch factory. And
Yeah, no, they have been making watches, I think,
Yeah.
for 250 years. I think they're
Wow.
the oldest, I think the oldest in Russia, and
Beautiful.
they're all over the world. Okay, well, thank you guys.
Thank you so much for
Take
Congrats,
care.
Hans,
Take care.
and
Bye-bye.
enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, that was so nice of Hans to join us on the stream, sharing his insight. I love that he showed us his favorite game, our favorite game as well. Like you said, Felix, a strategical masterpiece.
Yeah, absolutely.
Game 15. Yeah, that was thrilling match. Hope you guys enjoyed the match as much as we did, as much as Hans did. Probably, as you saw, he was extremely happy, especially with the watches. That's very surprising because, usually as chess players, it's so redeeming to finally win a match. But I guess these watches do charm you.
Absolutely. And we could also sort of see the relief in Hans's behavior now that he was just so happy to beat DUBOV, because as you mentioned, DUBOV is one of the best blitz players in the world, and they really delivered a fantastic fight. And in the end, I think that Hans was able to win the match partly because of his amazing fighting skills. Like, he was in such horrible positions in many cases, but he was able to turn them around every time and even press some full points out of that in the very end. So this is what counted in the end. And I think also what gave him the win in the end.
Yeah, beautiful. Like you said, Felix, you captured everything beautifully. Beautiful match, beautiful organization, beautiful gifts, and beautiful team behind everything, and mostly beautiful platform, ENDGAME.AI. Please check it out. It's Hans's new platform for the good of chess, for the change of chess. As you guys heard, he's gonna make a match against Anish Giri I can't wait to follow that, Felix.
Yeah, me neither. And also, as he mentioned, many online tournaments he's planning to host on the website as well, with lots of monetary prizes as well. So I'm really excited what's how everything is going to be there. And well, judging with how it looks now and what he's been announcing, I think it's going to be a great future which ENDGAME.AI has to offer for us.
Yes, I would love to analyze all of the games, but as Hans is tired, I think also the hosts deserve a slight break from the chess. Of course, very exciting games today, very exciting games yesterday, but I guess you guys will just have to follow us next time to see more of the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And I cannot say anything else anymore. Only thanks to you, Laura, that it was amazing to host this event with you. And I really had a great time commenting the games together. It was just so exciting. Also with everyone in the chat. It was crazy how many people were watching today. Even on YouTube alone, at some moment, we had close to 4,000 live viewers, which was great to see. So again, thank you, Laura. And, you have any closing words?
No, thank you so much, Felix. Like, it's always a pleasure commentating with you. I hope every viewer enjoyed our commentary. We tried our best, and on all platforms that we were live on, we saw you, but mostly can't wait for you to chat on ENDGAME.AI once the platform develops in a more advanced way as well.
Yeah. And I can only say in the end that the end game is near. So that's it for today.
Beautiful. Okay, I think we can end with this. Thank you, Felix. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening or day wherever you are.
Thank you, guys.